That. Here we go. So there's that. And let's start off with this. Why not?
Lyrics coming at you with supersonic speed.
Some of them do on a dang old human, man. Boy, I tell you what, I get a goddamn superhuman, innovative, animated, dang old rubber, so that anything you say is ricocheting back at you, man. Devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to get a dang old audience to feeling like it's levitating. Faded like a farmer's tan, man, I tell you what. Here's getting worked up, complain, hot like propane, boom, how spitting them facts, man, spinning them rhymes like a dang old tornado, jib-jabbing like it just ain't no thing. Why be a god and not a dang old king?
Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you today?
Good.
Great.
Nice. So you start your stream off by having a white guy say the N-word. That's fantastic.
Well, that's Eminem. It's already been done, so
Yeah, and it's already been done with MSK all the time, so it's fine.
Yeah. So boom, hang on a second. I need to do this. Hang on. Ooh, let's see. I'm trying to get us on Rumble. We accidentally did not go live on Rumble.
Okay.
So we're late for Rumble. So if you're waiting on Rumble right now, you're not seeing us, and you're not going to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You kind of deserve it if you use Rumble.
Well, we get more views on Rumble than we do anywhere else. So that's exciting. Boom. There we go. Now we are live on Rumble. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see everybody out this morning. We've got a great show planned for you today. And I started off with the Boomhauer intro because there's some controversy about some things that are happening with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but let's have a look at the...
I saw it, but I didn't look into it.
Well, here's the scene in question.
I'll do the talking. Hey, I'm a gangster. I got my puff and my Timbs. I need my bacon, egg, and cheese, too. You got the good super fly?
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Yo, let me get that bacon, egg.
With the bed? With the bed, y'all. We outside.
You heard? Yerk.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna help people like you. Just being honest.
So there's a lot of people online that are saying that these kids are that this whole scene is not accurate to the way street kids talk in New York, and it's not accurate to the way kids talk in New York, and it's not accurate to the way it's kind of insulting, if you will.
Isn't that the joke? That they don't know how they talk?
Yeah. Well, I think that's how they talk because it was the kids that improvised the scene. They hired kids to play the kids this time around in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the non-melanated creators, if you will, they did not write that scene. They heard the kids talking, and they turned on the mics and let them go at it and do their thing, and then they added that to the movie. So, they're the kids at that age talking the way they talk, and just being goofballs the way kids are. And it reminded me of something from Airplane when they had the two gentlemen speaking jive, and a lot of people got upset about that because they thought it was racist. They thought it was a poor way of doing it, and they thought these white guys wrote some stuff that was very, very insulting. When it turns out it was the two actors that did it. Let's have a quick look at that.
Shit, man. That hunky must be messing my old lady. Got to be running coal upside down his head, you know?
Hey, home, I can dig it. No, he ain't gonna lay no more big rap up on you, man.
I say, hey, Sky, Subba say I won't sing. Pray to Jay, I did the same old, same old.
Knock yourself a pro slick. The gray matter back, lot performers down, not take TCB in, man.
Hey, you know what they say? See a broad to get that booty yak 'em? Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Cold got to be. You know? Shit.
The whole notion for jive dialogue originated from when we went and saw Shaft. We went and saw it and didn't understand what they were saying.
The first two people to read for the part were Al White and Norm Gibbs. And they came in and they had prepared this entire run of jive talking, and we were just hysterically laughing the whole time.
Would you gentlemen care to order your dinners?
Bet, babe, slide a piece of the porter, drinks, I run the job.
Look at here. I can dig grease and trumpet on some butter and drag him through the garden.
Well, we came up with the actual dialogue in the movie basically individually. We got together and really couldn't come to any consensus as to what we should do relative to what they wanted. But we knew what they wanted. They wanted jive as a language.
Yeah. We actually created a language. We'd gotten to the point where, in order for it to be consistent, we needed to find a key or a code so that we could actually be able to have a sense of rhythm. The first time that we did it, it was good, but it came across as a language.
And they immediately had the part, and
we had to apologize.
We had to apologize for what we had written. Yeah.
This is so you mentioned that this is supposed to be a joke, right? So isn't the whole point is to offend people?
That, and you know, the point of the joke is that they're kind of like making fun of, like, you know, the stereotypes and characters or scenes in some films and in older stuff. Like,
but here's my thing, right? At the end of the day, it's a joke. Like, of course, New Yorkers don't all talk like that. I don't talk like that. But I'm not gonna like, oh, okay, my heart's crushed now. I'm offended. Oh no, this is one of those things where people are just. I'm telling you, man. People now look at things, even TMNT, and like, oh, we gotta find something that's controversial, that's gonna stir up something. You know, it has.
Yeah, they have to find at least one thing in each film. Yeah, I'm sure they did that with the Mario film with the accents, maybe.
Yeah,
at least somebody.
That's the way I look at it, and the fact that the clip you showed second, right? Those two guys came up on their own and weren't offended and weren't, you know, and the thing is, none of them asked who came up with the idea. Like in the article, I'm sure they didn't say, did you guys say who came up with the idea, and then they could answer. They automatically assume. It's like you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, the point of that scene in Airplane is, they're like making fun of those stereotypes. The point of it isn't them being racist for laughs. It's them kind of making fun of that stuff in other films and other stereotypes, and also how like white viewers would hear it sometimes. It's like they missed the entire point of that joke and scene in Airplane. If they were actually trying to be racist, and every black character in Airplane would speak like that, but they don't. It's just those two.
Yeah, and I think the point of the scene is
with
that
the thing in Ninja Turtles, it's like, isn't the point of the joke is that they're not being accurate?
Yeah. I mean, those kids, maybe those kids do come from privilege because they are actors, and maybe that's what they assume street kids talk like. You know, I don't talk to kids on the street myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't interact with them, so I don't know what they talk like.
Yeah, but again, isn't part of the joke as well that like it isn't accurate to how they actually talk. It's like, you know, it's them just trying to come up with what they think in their minds, the characters in the films, and then it's inaccurate, and that's part of the joke. It's like people think like when you make a joke nowadays, it has to also be true. This is sort of like what Warren was saying. It's like, no.
Well, there's saying things that are true to be humorous, and then there's also taking things to an absurd level, kind of like slapstick comedy. If you can have your slapstick comedy where things happen, somebody gets hit in the head with something or they fall down, like kind of like the Home Alone things, And if you took it to the other extreme where it was absolutely 100% accurate, you're looking at some really gore-based violence happening in Home Alone. With the torches and the irons and whatnot. You're looking at some serious damage. So we're not looking at reality. We're looking at an absurdist version of reality in both cases, which is meant to be humorous, as like you said, as opposed to being insulting and 100% accurate. You look at you listen to the guys talk about how they came up with the jive. It's not a language. It's never been meant to be a language. So to have it as a language is absurdist on its whole. So it's not meant to be a slice of reality that we're supposed to laugh at. We're not supposed to look and say, "Oh, look at these people of color, how humorous it is the way they interact with each other on a daily basis." That's not it. That's not it at all. I mean, um, the absurdist part about it is, it's the contrast between what you see, what you hear, and the way the people around them react. You go on top of that and you take it to the utmost extreme, and you have the old kindly grand lady speaking jive to the guys, and them being upset to the fact that they understood what the white lady was telling them. So and I didn't have that clip, but so there you go. Any final thoughts on this?
No, just another woke activist coming out just to. I'm telling you, we're in the. They should have labeled this point in era the feelings, sensitive feelings era. That's what they should really call this era.
I mean, yeah, I don't usually use the word woke like 96% of the time, but this is one of the 4% of the time where, yeah, it's definitely just woke morons online with this one, that and of course many others per year. It doesn't happen as many times, per year as people say, but this is definitely one of them. And then also, the whale controversy, which was just stupid. And I could make like a whole 3-hour rant about how dumb it is.
How dumb the whale is?
No, because that's an excellent film.
You don't think that film is about fat shaming?
It's about one person who's fat and his perspective, and it's actually pretty accurate. It's not shaming at all to it.
No, not the not the sound of the Eiffel Tower crashing when he leans on a table and falls to the ground. That's not fat shaming. A fat person leans on a piece of furniture and it crumbles.
Well, again, he's like 600 pounds. That's heavier than usual. So that's the other thing.
Well, yeah. So what we're going now is to the hyper realistic. Well, if you put 600 pounds on an IKEA cardboard furniture, it's going to crumble. That's realism right there. So then it gets to the point of, well, is it real or is it insulting?
It's pretty real. I mean, especially the one that broke there. That's a pretty cheap one that was in the film. And again, it's like people thought a lot of the things were like trying to be like how do I say, like shocking, and that like, oh, look how like look and point at this, but no, quite the opposite. It's like you see certain scenes and the point of it and with the music and the tone is, to feel bad and wanting him to change. But, then of course there's people who take the wrong context out of it because they automatically go into it like, oh, this is fat phobic.
Warren, did you see The Whale?
No, but I heard good things about it. I just need to watch it. I've heard good things.
Yeah, and don't listen to all the morons saying that it's just Oscar bait and that they, Brendan Fraser's Oscar was just a sob story. No. And the people say, the Elvis actor deserved it, or definitely don't listen to those people.
What about the VFX people? Do they need? Should they have gotten an Oscar?
I mean, it was actually wasn't it like a photo printed like suit they had for it?
A photo printed suit?
Well, sorry, what is it like a, that like those, physical like things you can print out. I think they like CGI or whatever, like modeled it on a computer thing and then printed it out and then had that under the suit, basically. Some of it.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd never heard of that. 3D printing a suit.
Yeah, I mean, at least some of it, and they won like makeup and hairstyling because of that. So, because usually when you have like a fat suit in a film, the Oscars love to at least nominate you because they, for some reason, love that. That's why Click was nominated for an Oscar.
Well, we'll have to bring this up as a discussion at some other time to take a look at the at the whale and see if it's worth all the heavy praise it's gotten.
I knew you were gonna make a pun. I thought it'd be like a whale with time or something instead.
So, Warren, I know that you're a big fan of the Star Wars stuff, and they did, I think, possibly some fan service this week in Ahsoka.
Yeah, they did. I watched it.
Awesome. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding. Ahsoka found herself in the place that's in between life and death, I believe. And there, Anakin Skywalker showed up to give her one last lesson, not to warn her that Palpatine wasn't on the other side or anything like that, or that he had clones or all that other stuff, but to train her.
Yeah, because those films, don't count, So.
So he gave her one last lesson to survive, and she came out as Gandalf the Great at the other end. So, or Gandalf the White, actually.
Yeah, again, I don't know about that. I mean, I get what you mean by Gandalf the White. I don't know. They're just trying to. I think the series is a bit slow, but I know it's not saying much, but I think it's the second best series ever on Disney Plus, compared to even Mandalorian. And I will say one thing is Ray Stevenson is carrying the show really hard with his acting. So it's going to be when I'm sure he's not going to stay on, like they're going to kill off his character or something like that. So,
well, he is dead. So
yeah. So
yeah.
But I mean, I liked also the fan service in the episode prior with the lightsaber duel. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see that this is a possibility for a live action series of the Clone Wars, which you could potentially do. But I mean, like the Count Dooku actor, he's dead, so who knows? So there's a lot of possibilities with things that they've introduced in the series.
I mean, they'll definitely do that because, the Hollywood doesn't consider animation as real, sadly. So they'll definitely do live action versions of it.
They don't. Well, what do you call the live action Lion King?
Please don't bring that up. I want to erase it from my mind.
Well, the one last thing I say is I like how Filoni is slowly with these series, making people appreciate Hayden Christensen's character more, because the actor got so much flack for being Anakin Skywalker, and even back then, and it's kind of he's getting like a redemption arc through the recent series, like. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't his fault, definitely, back then, but at the same time, he definitely wasn't good either. He was definitely still kind of bad, and In this, he's definitely better, but I would say that's more because.
What did you say?
Yeah, I'd say they're more just like covering for him and, playing it safe and with his, lines instead of him doing super well, but still he's doing his job at least.
Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the last 2 episodes and especially how they were filmed visually and everything. They were done a lot more artistically and professionally and with the shots, which I think and with stuff going on even during dialogue scenes, which I think the first 3 episodes were kind of missing. And I like the fan service and everything. I think just super well made, better performed as well, more stuff going on. And I think it would have been better though if for like a theater event that they planned out in advance, if they instead of just having episode 5 in theaters, they have both episode 4 and episode 5. And that maybe, the people who see it in theaters go pay to see it for like, $6 or however much, get to see, episode 5 a week early than people watching it on Disney Plus.
I don't know. I don't know if that'd work.
Good marketing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen something.
They
they tried something akin to that with the Eternals when they had their first 2 or 3 episodes released in theaters before the show debuted on television. So they had to die in two arenas. So it may not be a good idea to try to emulate that.
I guess, but it's just an idea that or just longer episode. I don't know. Maybe something more in advance that would be like special theater event thing, maybe with like special actors Q&A or something. I don't know. Just an idea, but also I mean technically the Clone Wars like animated film they had back then was pretty much like just 2 or 3 episodes sewed together, they said. So would have been kind of fitting, I guess, with this series. But yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed it this episode. I think I liked the last episode a bit more, but yeah, I liked this episode a lot. And yeah, they did what was needed in order, to justify it as a theater thing, and with like that training thing there.
Mm-hmm. I think though they are working themselves into a corner with this whole Ezra Bridger thing. I understand him being a MacGuffin. That's a great thing, but it looks like they're going to actually pay it off and have the actor not reprise his role, but the actor debut this character along with the general guy. I can't remember the character's name because I'm so enthralled with the whole thing. But
Thrawn.
Thrawn, there you go. So Thrawn, I think bringing those 2 guys in at the last minute for the final 2 episodes, whatever it may be, is probably going to be a little bit underwhelming unless they pull some sort of shocker type thing, like those 2 guys working together. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this and whether or not it's worth the wait and worth the payoff, because when you have somebody's character strive so hard to get to a certain point, it's either got to be all that it's cracked up to be or nothing and disappointing. We're basically seeing not Ahsoka, but the other one. Who's the character she's training?
Oh, Sabine.
Sabine, yes, Sabine is basically doing this whole Rocky thing where she's fighting to get to the goal, and her goal is the one-on-one to save Ezra, and she's either got to win the title like Rocky, or like in Rocky 1, lose the title, because you've got to strive so hard to get so close and then just be disappointed, and he turns out to be evil. How's it going, Andrew? It's good to see you here. We're talking Ahsoka.
I mean, that is one issue I kind of have with the series so far. I do think it's solid, but I don't think there's as much of like a clear direction with the main story and everything and kind of the arcs as I think there should be, as it feels like. Can you I was also kind of annoyed that, the first 3 episodes just left us off with like the same exact cliffhangers, because it gave me, flashbacks to Book of Boba Fett doing that.
Final thoughts, Warren?
I mean, she kind of set the stage for it when you said the build up, because we all know that these shows are leading up to a movie. So I guess prophecy is going to basically come true, because we're going to see Ezra, we're going to see that, but he's going to lose, of course, which would be the catalyst for the movie, right? Or maybe a second season of Ahsoka. I don't know, with the writer's strike, whatever. So I think we got 3 more episodes, right? So I'm happy.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm happy that it's an 8-episode series and they stopped on that dumb nonsense of 6 episodes. But I do not like the shortness of these episodes sometimes. I think if you're gonna, that's what I don't like.
Well, that, and you have like I pretty much believe this last episode, even though it's fan service, is pretty much a filler episode. So you have shorter episodes, shorter seasons, and even still filler episodes. So we're looking at something that could have been a 2-hour movie that's been spread out.
Agreed.
And 3-hour movie, you think?
No. I said agreed.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 3. And they need to look at it more like a series as opposed to a story idea. Maybe maybe that's how they're looking at it with Daredevil. I hear it's going to be episodic, where they're doing a villain of the week kind of thing as he goes through the 18, I believe it is, 18 episodes of Daredevil. So there's that.
Which I don't want me to drag this one on, but I see, for instance, Netflix is releasing movies all the time on their platform that you can watch. Well, why not just it's okay if it's not a series? So what if you just make it like Ahsoka could have been a Disney movie?
The thing with Netflix, the difference between Netflix and Disney, there's a couple of them. The one thing is, the first thing is that they don't produce every single movie that's on their platform. They're buying content from independent filmmakers, and they have an outline of how they need it to be, the quality of the filming, the frame rate, the number of deliverables, and how they should be delivered and submitted. So there's all these filmmakers that are fulfilling these requirements for Disney. I mean, for Netflix, whereas Disney is producing every single one of the pocket, because it's all their own IPs. So the strain financially on Disney is a lot harsher than it is for, say, a Netflix. And one thing the second thing is that they failed to recognize that Netflix was licensing IPs that were previously successful and had something called rewatchability. They made their name off of The Office and other shows that people were dying to watch over and over and over again, not just random reruns. So when they're producing these shows, they're not considering the fact that the shows that, trying to emulate Netflix, there's no rewatchability in the Book of Boba Fett, because there was no quality put into it in the first place. And they run the risk of doing the same thing with all of the others. So they're not taking that into account and building good shows like the CW. They're just doing content filler. CW didn't care about whether people were watching it or not. They were just making shows. Riverdale, the Arrowverse stuff, what is that? Nancy Drew and whatnot. They didn't care if people were watching it. They were just boom, 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 putting it out, so that they could resell it on the secondary market and get money that way. Ooh. So there. And they've got to up their game and start making more and more quality content and take longer time to figure out what it is their market is. Their topic, their part. They're not marketing and making things to the audience that they're trying to reach. Good morning, Miss 1776. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, well, it was fun while it lasted.
Nah, shut up, Cole.
Hello. How are you?
Hey, Warren, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
How do you feel about Ahsoka? Did you watch it?
Nope.
Awesome. Andrew says, I'm a little worried about and a little excited for Beetlejuice 2. You guys excited about Beetlejuice?
Do you know who's directing it?
I think they brought
Tim
back
Burton.
the original.
Okay,
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Well, not really, just because again, Tim Burton's track record as of late doesn't give me hope, but I feel like dependent on how they do the production design, if it's like maybe more authentic and everything. Not as authentic maybe as like Rob Zombie's whatever that I even forgot the name of it, that recent one he did, but
Halloween.
The one that everybody likes. God, I can't even remember the name of it. I don't know if you remember. It was like the Munsters. The Munsters, right? As long as it's not like that, maybe that level, but it's also not like Alice in Wonderland level, and with the overabundance of like any CGI, maybe if they just like stay true to like the production and style of it and the cast as well, and they played safe, then it could be not too bad, could get some enjoyment out of it, and with the nostalgia, especially bringing back the actors who still definitely fit it, and cast in I guess Jenna Ortega for the role I guess now, which I mean was predictable as heck, but yeah, I mean other than that, we'll see. I don't have the most hope though, because again, Tim Burton's not been doing too well lately.
You don't think it's a problematic story at all? Beetlejuice looking for a second child bride?
I mean, do you know if that's going to be the story?
I think he's going after Lila's daughter. I think that's the story.
Wow, that's gonna.
And Lila, of course, being the first child bride, he tried to drag into hell. So,
yes, and then she's gonna stomp on his face and say, "Yeah, girl power, female empowerment," and then yeah, that's gonna be the ending of the film. And
exactly.
It's 1776.
That was depressing. I mean, I guess not anymore. I was hoping, I don't know. Actually, I've given up hope on pretty much anything that was good in the past of them making it anything decent. So
I mean, you watched Barbie, so I'm sure it was.
Yeah, that was good. But that's not a remake. Wait till they do the remake.
Yeah, well, hopefully they don't make like a sequel or anything.
Or sequel, thank you. Oh, if they did a Ken, I would watch Ken.
Yeah, because Barbie actually had talented filmmakers and writers and actors on board. That's the difference. Which I'm still kind of confused as to why people think all the stuff in it, and also making Ken look good as well was just a fluke, when the filmmakers have been literally doing this stuff and intentionally with films with their amazing writing and such for ages. But I guess people
Andrew
just,
says that they
don't.
cast somebody as Beetlejuice's wife, so maybe it's a totally different story than what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe not. I guess.
Then I don't know. I mean, where could they go with this?
I don't know,
I'm gonna
just
go
like
watch the
some like
cartoon.
leader of the underworld, I guess, or whatever.
Who knows?
Who knows where they're going with that? And who knows where they're going to go with Yellowstone, because they've got a little bit of a disruption going on, not only with the writer's strike happening, but with Kevin Costner and their second half of the fifth season, I believe. So there's Kevin Costner finally broke his silence on what's going on with Yellowstone because he's going through divorce proceedings. So he had to open up about that during his court proceedings. And turns out that there's a whole lot of he said, she said when it comes to old Kev's involvement with the series. He got greenlit a TV show that he'd been wanting to do, a little miniseries kind of thing. Yeah, maybe it will be like the cartoon. That would be interesting. But he had a dream project that he wanted to do, and it got greenlit while he was doing Yellowstone. So they were taking a break between the two shows, and he got started on that. And according to the Yellowstone side, he wanted to take more and more time off from the shoot, Yellowstone, so that he could work on his TV show. And according to Kevin, they wanted to pay him less and less for the remaining episodes that he wanted to do. So if you read between the middle, and they're both telling the truth, they didn't want to pay him the same amount if he's not going to be working as much, and he didn't want to work as much, but he still wanted to get paid the same amount. That's where you can read between those two comments, but each one of them says the other is not being truthful when it comes to their claim. So he may be suing, I believe, because of a breach of contract and being written out of the show, because he says he expected to be in 7 seasons, and they're only going with 5 and 5 in 2 sections, which the second half they haven't done yet. So Miss 1776, this is one of interest to you, is it not?
Oh yeah, this is the one area I shine in. Yeah, well, he screwed himself because he wanted to make this other stupid passion project, which is why his wife's leaving him, because he needed the funds, which is why he had to put up that house for collateral, in case this project fails. So he's not actually going to be on the project as much, or on the set like how Taylor Sheridan wants him to be. Like, he wants them to be there during a certain amount of time to go through all the shooting and everything. And then, but he cares about his other stupid project he's working on. So that pissed off Sheridan, which is why this is my theory, which is why I think they're going to go ahead and just probably kill off Costner. That's my theory. And why it's going to be shortened from probably the length of time he originally would have been on to now this, because Sheridan doesn't want to have to deal with all that. I mean, and Sheridan has already proven to be like this, great writer and everything, and a really big asset to Paramount. So now he actually has the sway. So that's actually where, all that's coming from. So I don't believe anything that's coming out of Costner's mouth right now, just from all that.
Thank you, PR, for giving us that detailed inside information.
You're welcome.
Cole, you got anything to say about that?
Not really. I don't really watch the show, and I haven't really followed the news. But yeah, I mean, it's fitting though how this is, ending in an explosion, because that's what's going to happen in real life soon with it.
I'm just shocked that you have nothing to say, Cole. You usually have something to say. It's your big mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take the bait. Speaking of not taking the bait, we've got a Majors update happening, and a lot of stuff is going on with that. I had prepared a whole thing here about the new court date and everything else, and a bunch of stuff happened within that time period. So basically, the some videos came out. Hang on, let me take a look over here. Leave Sweet Cole alone. Face purple, wide eyes. Again, I just don't see what these.
Yeah, they're like emotes for special ones for YouTube that you can't see in StreamYard.
I see. Okay, so there was a video that came out with showing Jonathan Majors not being aggressive, and it was hidden in the terabytes of information that was delivered from the district attorney. Let's have a quick look at this real quick.
You're fine. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna get where you need to be.
He ran, like, run. I know where the fuck he is.
Hey,
I thought he was not like that.
okay, then you have to put that on him. That's his fault.
Where's our bag and stuff? Your bag's in the
Yo,
car.
bro.
I know you need to stop. On your.
So what we have there is just minutes after the alleged assault that took place, that Jonathan Majors injured the woman and broke her finger and cut her neck and things like that, choked her out. As you can see in that video, she had no blood on her. She was using her hands perfectly. She was, talking to these strangers that she had met in the street, talking about her purse being left in the car. Meanwhile, down the street was Jonathan Majors looking for the driver and the car itself. So as he goes walking by, he doesn't engage her. He doesn't try to talk to her. He just continues to walk on by because he wants nothing to do with her. So the next day is when he winds up calling the police because she'd attempted to OD in his apartment, locked herself in the bedroom. And he had called the supervisor, the building soup, who unlocked the door. They found her. They found the pills. She was out. He calls 911, and the police show up, and they find the girl, and she's not making a whole lot of sense, and they wind up arresting him for assault. So between the time period that you saw her in this video, where she's using her hands, she's not bleeding or anything else, she winds up with a broken finger, cuts, and she's completely unaware of where she got that. And the police talked her into saying that he strangled her, which is why they took him in, and under domestic abuse allegations. She has since dropped those charges and fled the country. And, she dropped the claim. Yeah. I think the reason why he's mad is clearly black and white. But, the thing is that, this came out. And so they filed for a motion to dismiss. And this was on Friday. So what the judge did, instead of dismissing it, was he pushed a date back. So now there's a court date set for the defense to rebut the claims in the motion to dismiss. And then after that, there's another court date for Jonathan Majors' team to rebut the rebuttal. Now, I'm assuming, because of the way things are going, that this final and third, once those motions are heard, that the judge will then set another date to make a decision. So this is just going to keep going on until probably well into November or December, because it's just ridiculous that they're not letting go of the fact that he didn't do that. So what do you guys think? Cole?
I just still find it funny how they're still just like, oh, we'll wait for that taxi footage or whatever.
Like it's Hey man, it's
Yeah.
just the scope of a. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be racial. The scope on a good like black male actor is just so annoying to see because like okay the guy's he's pretty prominent now because of the Lovecraft and also he was in Ant-Man and then Creed, so he's definitely getting up there. He's doing other stuff too. I've seen him, and it's just like
Yeah.
why what's with this like we gotta take him down, we gotta take the black man down, we gotta figure out a way, and like clearly the evidence is showing you just show that he's trying to be he's being smart. He's like nope, I ain't talking to you, I'm gonna keep walking my merry way because if you say something you're wrong. I just think that if the roles are reversed, I'm telling you, if this was like let me not use John Krasinski. I'm trying to think of a male actor that's single right now. I don't know. Just any male
Sean
actor.
Penn.
Yeah. So he if he were to do that with his chick, they'd be like, oh no, it's just a squabble. It's just a squabble. It's okay. It's like, but of course they're like, oh, they paint it. I like how they're trying to paint Jonathan Majors as the angry black man. If you've noticed, like he held her, he beat her. It's like, no,
Thanks, WZ.
it's just I don't know, man. 'Cause I never heard. It doesn't sound like think about it. It doesn't even sound as good if you say angry white man, angry black man. Oh.
Yeah, will you see this photo I have is a depiction of what they're doing to him? Yeah.
Is he holding him up by the collar? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Let's just. I might not be the only one who's blind. Hang on a second. Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it honestly.
Aubrey,
yeah,
you're
I'm
right,
just waiting
Aubrey.
for it to end.
Dana White did slap his wife in full view and on video, and it was released before anything happened. But I've said this before. This happened in Mexico, and in Mexico, you can do with your property whatever you want.
Yeah, when sometimes you just need to slap a. No, just joking. But yeah, I'm just waiting for this to end because this just like the Johnny Depp stuff and everything. This stuff just bores me at this point. It's just like the first month, I'm like, okay, this is interesting, and then after that, I'm just like, okay, can you wrap this up already? But yeah, I mean, it's obvious that he's innocent now, and yeah, I'm just waiting for it to be dropped. But I mean, yeah, it's like before, could just be neutral and say wait, which is the smart thing instead of just picking any sides and being reactionary. And I mean that on both sides because there's definitely both of that. But now it's definitely like confirmed at this point for sure. And yeah, it's just really dumb at this point. I was gonna. There was something else I was gonna say. I kind of forgot at this point. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to my mind later. But also, Warren, actually, do you actually know the film that actually put Majors on the map first?
No.
Okay, it's Last Black Man in San Francisco, and yeah, I'm just gonna say this just to make Rosales mad because it was an A24 film. So yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. He got out. He got out. He got out of A24 and made it to the big league. So that's awesome for him. Miss 1776, the prosecutor in New York is African American. The mayor in New York is African American. The chief of police in New York is African American. So you can't really rely on, I believe, systematic racism as the cause for why they continue to go after him. Do you think maybe they're prosecuting him because he's might be secretly Republican?
Yes.
1776.
Yes.
Well, oh yeah, there was actually the one thing I was going to mention, right? So yeah, I was going to say I don't actually again, some of the things people said or reported on, or
Sorry, I've been
some of
talking. My
the.
mic was muted again.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, you can go. I mean,
My bad. I see you go. God, why is everybody talking over me again?
damn.
Yes.
I was too paying attention, WZ. I have my mic muted. I was gonna say that's a really good theory, but I don't know. I mean, really, is there anybody conservative in Hollywood left?
No.
Warren, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you, Warren.
Yeah,
Come on,
I mean,
do it
you could
again.
say
Come
Mickey
on,
Mickey
one more time.
Rourke maybe, but
That's what I thought. Anyways, that's a good theory. But I mean, I would have said like, isn't everybody gonna start moving on to Russell Brand now? Isn't that like the new guy who's on like the chopping block there?
Yeah, and then wasn't like Marilyn Manson kind of proven innocent recently, or was I mistaken?
What's going
He's
on with
smoking
Russell
something,
Brand?
Cole? Oh yeah, now he's getting like in trouble for all these women are coming out and.
Oh yeah, and I believe one is like 16. They said.
At some point, it gets really hard to believe when it's like, okay, we got this one in jail. Okay, next one on the chopping block. I mean, like, okay, something doesn't make sense here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some of them aren't, and yeah, money just like the major thing, but yeah, I mean, some of them I would say is true. Yeah, I mean, some of them are definitely dumb. Like, again,
Yeah.
I don't know fully the James Franco thing, so I'm not gonna say he's like
Listen,
innocent because I
Franco
don't
too?
know it. But that's another. Well, he was, yeah, but that's like another example. It's like, again, I don't know like all the claims or like the full thing, so I'm not gonna say he's completely innocent because I didn't look into it. But the ones I did, I'm just like,
Well,
really,
just because they're
like,
old claims doesn't mean they're innocent. I mean, look at Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jesus Christ. But I mean, again, it's like you look at like the claims, though, like at least the ones I saw against Franco, and it's literally the equivalent of like some girl was like, like send me nude, and then he's like, are you over 18? And then she says yes, and then he does it, and then she's like, just kidding. So then he immediately blocks her, and then she says, oh, James Franco groomed me. It's like that was the equivalent of it, but.
Okay, that's kind of bull. I mean, he's kind of stupid for believing that she's over 18, but on the other hand, that's kind of stupid that's like just entrapment or something. I don't know. That's just entrapment. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like I don't know all the claims and everything like that, but again, just there's some examples as they've been doing this forever of people, and some of them are warranted, but others.
I don't know. Have you seen some of these high school kids? There's a lot of guys at my son's school that are over 6 foot and fully bearded with pot bellies. It looks like 21 Jump Street, the movie out there. And it's just incredible. Some of these women look like lunch ladies already. And they don't all look like their age group.
Teens?
Yes, the teens. They don't look like teens anymore.
You made them skip over their 20s into their 40s right there, Rosales.
They do. They look like they're in their 40s. They really do.
How you do, fellow kids?
I'm not going to take any pictures. I'm not going to fall into that trap. But yes, they and it's incredible because some of the freshmen look like fourth graders. They're tiny, and then they shoot up to like this big within the course of 2 or 3 years. Andrew's got a theory about that. It's meth.
Wow.
Okay.
Maybe.
Is it meth?
Maybe it is. Who knows?
I just think the thing about me is I just want to always see evidence and like.
You want to see the Franco evidence, don't you?
Yeah. You
want to see Franco's nudes? James Franco's nudes?
No, not his nudes. I just want to have.
He wants to see the evidence, apparently.
I want to see the evidence just to make sure, because people be having these claims and then they get figured out. Like, oh no, I don't. What video? Oh, we don't see you in the video.
Yeah,
so
there's about 6 inches deep of evidence.
So so I'm clear. Warren wants to see James Franco's nudes as evidence.
No,
I'm not sure what
6 inches of it.
Yeah. 76 confirmed. She wants to see Pitbull's nudes. That's what.
No, I didn't. You just randomly see Pitbull in there because you're like, oh crap. How do I get one in? Pitbull. Come on, Warren, do better. Do better.
I'm good.
Do better, Senator.
I'm good. All I'm saying is this man, just leave. Let him finish off. Well, they can't even start the films because
Let him finish.
So now he wants to see what are you? You are degenerate, Warren. This morning you were just being a degenerate.
Your mind must have had some gutter soup. All I'm saying is that they need to. I mean, the writer's strike is happening, so it's like I guess it doesn't even really matter, but because a lot of things are being put on hold, but it's just like leave the guy alone. Like,
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you should, always stay neutral and wait for both sides to give their evidence. But when it takes this long and there's still nothing, it's like at that point it just should be dropped. I mean,
yeah, just drop the case. Like, like? She's not Amber Heard. She doesn't have Amber Heard money to really take this case on. But yet these people are just really that.
are you sure she doesn't have some like Russian family? Maybe.
Yeah, but if you're hiding away, if they really wanted to get this case going, they would have started it immediately.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what I blame the most on this, though? The PR team, because again, I honestly don't blame some of like the film studios that like cut him early from this, or some of the backlash on them. I think what I blame this on mainly with that stuff is the PR team, because they're supposed to like have your back throughout this, and they dropped him despite not even like seeing, or knowing about the whole incident. They just like a few days later or whatnot, or a week later, like dropped him like that, which gave him an awful look, because like 99% of the time when that happens, it usually means the person's kind of guilty, at least a bit. So that gave him a poor look, and I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't know if it was like a negotiable thing, for like his benefit. But if it was, then they should have announced it publicly, but they didn't. They stayed silent on it, so it gave him a bad look. So I think some of this, honestly, I have to really blame on that. Like, and I think Chillmonger, which I'm just surprised he isn't here for this topic, but I think he even said, yeah, if he ends up being innocent, then I'm calling the PR team like racist. Genuinely, it's like, I can't blame him, but yeah.
Well, I think there's probably some of the reasons behind the continued push forward is that they need to protect their own. We know that the cops have done this before. They protect their own. Whenever somebody makes a mistake, they do their best to cover up bad actions. And I think what's going on here is that the system, not being racist but corrupt, is protecting its own. They're protecting the corrupt cops that made up something to get this big collar, and they're protecting a corrupt DA who is continuing to fail at putting together a case that will not stand up in a court of law. And they're doing their best to push it back and elongate it and make sure that he tries to get a deal so they don't have to admit or lose in a court of law. But that's not the only news about Jonathan Majors that broke this week as well, as he was caught on film stopping a fight between two people. And I got a little video of that. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Well, these claws ain't for just attracting mates. Bring it on, old man! Bring it on!
No, people. Let's be smart and bring it off.
I may have queued up the wrong video.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, you got the right one.
One of you guys shoot the link to K-Dot, and let's get him in here real quick while I queue up the right video. Hang on a second.
Yeah, so send.
Damn! You don't want to do anything? My storage, bitch. Oh! No, it's okay. You kind of ate. No one did anything. Well, clearly.
That's the Kang we know.
Wait, well, I thought the Kang we know tried to kill everybody.
Welcome to the show.
Is it me or I'm frozen in time or something?
You guys send it to Phil and K-Dot?
I did send it to Chill.
Rosales, I think your thing's frozen.
My thing is frozen.
It might be my side, but it's also on Warren's side too.
Yeah, your picture's frozen.
Damn.
I'm not frozen on my side. How about now? Are we there? Can you see me yet?
No, but yeah, WZ says you're lagging too. You might need to like exit and join back without turning off the stream. Yeah, but I'm not saying that is obviously because it isn't, but I'm just saying if that is like the type of thing.
Did someone send it to K-Dot or Chillmonger too?
Yeah, I don't know. I asked, but
well, no, Chill said to send it to him. Go send it to Chill.
I mean, I would, but I can't copy the link.
Lazy bum. Okay.
It's not visible for me.
Bum. It's right there.
No, because I typed something in the bar and now it's not loading.
Rosales, are you there? Can you hear us? Because you have K-Dot and Chillmonger waiting for you. There you go.
Hey, sorry.
Woo.
I think I'm here now.
Well, why do you have an Australian t-shirt?
Well, I'm cultured.
He betrayed Kent.
Oh, wow. It looks like I missed a lot of stuff for a second there. Let's see here. I literally thought this was two gorillas. I think I confused their blur with fur.
Oh my
God. Wow. Everyone is frozen and lagging. So it wasn't just me. Wow. Interesting. Michael, good morning. And those two were Latinas, no? Well, I don't know. But they were Chill.
Hi.
Chill. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Lost the track of time. What was on my mind? So Jonathan Majors saw the video. I saw you play it of him just walking right past. And as she approaches him, he sort of like does one of these, which further supports he's the victim and she was the one abusing him earlier because of the way he takes a little mini step. The evidence is so overflowing and overmounting, and it was in there. It was part of the prosecution's 2 terabytes of evidence that they submitted. The thing is that they combined so many other pieces of footage and documents and things just so that it would fill it up with filler, and hopefully the defense team who want to say Jonathan's innocent, hopefully Jonathan's team wouldn't notice that this evidence existed, but it did. And it was there. And it was very shady. Here comes now Jonathan Major's team. They say, we're going to file a motion or submit a motion to drop the case. Because this, which wasn't flagged, by the way, that little scene that you saw, none of it's flagged and none of it is appropriately documented. Now you guys know about it. You guys can pretend, oh, we didn't even know that it was Jonathan. We had footage of that. We were just getting footage from the whole entire street. They could say that, right? Here you go. They're gonna now have to drop the case if they're doing things fairly. That there's no more ignorance or feigning. Oh my God, what do you know? He is actually innocent. She wasn't injured 8 minutes after the cap. Oh wait. Oh, you know what? Now that we talked to the witness and we know that the driver does say she was the psycho girl. Literally, quote, psycho girl. Now we got to drop the case. So I got no worries. I'm just looking at the public discourse and how many jokes were made about that fight that he breaks up of the high schoolers. And I'm like, you guys, why don't you use that energy also to post the positive news, which proves this guy isn't actually a bad, abusive, hateful. Like, he's not that, actually. He's pretty grown up. And instead we want to make jokes about how the way he dresses with that hat, and there's a lot of funny memes. I'm not mad at the memes and the jokes, but man, you guys are yeah.
What kind of jokes?
What about university stories?
You mean jokes like this?
Well, Daddy's claws ain't for just attracting mates. Bring it on, old man. Bring it on.
No, people. Let's be smart and bring it off.
That joke's exactly like that. People stepping in and breaking it. Yeah, all that stuff.
Well, I think
you know-
I think I think a majority of the people, like, for the most part, there's people making a joke out of it, which I'm not tripping on. People make jokes out of everything, but for example, Rosales is at least being fair about the situation and talking about it. He hasn't even chosen the side, but he's being very fair about the whole situation going on. But I think the majority of people, especially regular people, I think they just want Jonathan to be guilty. I think they're hoping this is guilty because all them saying is it's a bad PR stunt. Now, when you look at the video, okay, yeah, maybe it is that, but when you look at the other video and you see these kids fighting around these other high school kids, I'm like, yeah, this is real. Because most of the time, when high school kids get into a fight, and the other kids just stand there and watch and record it, nobody really breaks it up until one of the other kids beats up the other person, and they all go their separate ways, or they jump in and help beat up the kid. Rarely do you see anybody come and break it up unless some adult actually cares.
Yeah.
And it happened near In-N-Out anyways, like in the alleyway near the In-N-Out, wasn't even at a school. So that's another thing a lot of people was getting wrong. They was like, why is Jonathan at a high school and stuff, blah blah blah, like,
Now, I did take a look at the video a little bit closer, and it looks like there's a couple of grown-ups there. It looks like there's a grown woman to the left of the scene, and on the right, it looks like a grown man holding a laptop and a cell phone videotaping the whole thing.
Did you see the one from the other angle?
I didn't see it from the other angle, but yeah, it looked like somebody was in a car.
Send it to you real quick.
And the thing about it is, those are either grown-ups who allowed this fight to continue on, or they are grown-up looking teenagers, going back to the Franco thing, where they do look like grown-ups more these days than they do teenagers.
Just sent it.
But the two kids fighting were definitely throwing punches. They were landing potatoes.
No, they were just paid actors. He gave them $80,
if
to do
anybody,
it.
I haven't seen anybody pay somebody to fight since the old Bum Wars videos back in the 80s that would show up at the back of the Blockbuster video. And that's pretty twisted.
And I'll be honest with the amount of high schoolers and the young people there, I highly doubt Jonathan Majors paid each and every one of them to just be bystanders and pretend to actually said, hey, maybe he did. It's not
maybe,
saying
maybe James Franco did it for him. Who knows?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, no, it was faked. Trust me. All right, I have the script. I know it was faked. Basically, he was like, I need to save my career. So he's like, hey, Nathan Fielder, can you help me out? So he came up with this plan.
What I also think is I think people forget that regular stuff like this happens on a daily basis, and people kind of act perplexed, like, oh my gosh, this really happens. Like, yeah, high school kids literally fight almost every single day.
24/7. Yeah, I mean, it might have been like a PR stunt with him like stepping in to do that, because almost every other time no one would bother, but and maybe he wouldn't have it in another scenario. But yeah, it was real, obviously. And yeah, there's nothing
there's
wrong
some
with him
hair
breaking
on
it
the
up.
floor there.
Dang, that's a chunk.
So he's already walked in from that point. So we
Yeah.
didn't see him on his X mark.
Yeah, no, they just
before he
green
showed
screened him in.
But man, those are some nice kicks.
Look at Kang being a good guy for once, Look at his redemption.
He was always the good guy. What do you mean?
It's his redemption arc from getting defeated by the ants in Ant-Man 3.
Oh, shut up.
Redemption.
Don't talk about the ants, or else Nerdman's gonna show up.
You're saying this is outside of a In-N-Out?
The In-N-Out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me show you the because he did a team.
Pause it. Pause it right here. You can see the In-N-Out is directly right behind, and this is like the gate to the school. But the In-N-Out is you see the red kind of in the behind the fence.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
And got stomped
What did
out
they
by
all zoom
3
in on?
hands.
Like towards the end of the fight.
That was hair.
Hair was pulled. Okay.
Yes, hair was pulled. So
Kane got stomped
there's
out
that.
3. Multiple hands.
This is how he prepped for Creed.
Is Miss 76 just gone from my screen?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
the
a-
female left. That's good. That had to
Yeah,
leave
she had early, and Kitty is a little under the weather, so she's not here today. I don't know about the other 2 guys. They probably have stuff to do, which is fine. You know, that happens sometimes. Sometimes you oversleep. Sometimes you have things you have to do. Sometimes you have other shows to be on or prep for, and that's
Yeah.
just the way it is. So, anyway, I think this particular, whether it was staged or not, it goes towards his character and shows what kind of a man he is to step in and help, regardless of the situation. I don't think I would go in to try to manhandle any teenage kids as an adult. I would probably stand by the wayside myself. It lets you in on my cowardly character there. However,
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say because that doesn't sound like some noble or smart. I was waiting for you to justify it. Then you said you would be cowardly. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So, you know,
Personally, well, with the way that the law works, personally, I would have just called the police because even if you're going in there with the good intentions of breaking up the fight, just putting your hands on the children to push them apart, you don't know if the parents will want to sue you or whatever.
And
even if you're not trying to do anything malicious and you're trying to do something good, some
yeah, but
people
also
are weird.
chaos. I've seen clips before of similar incidents like that where then one of the kids for some reason gets super angry at them for doing that, and they like pull out a pocket knife, literally.
That can look. You're not wrong because it can happen.
Sure.
Some of these kids are crazy nowadays, and they might.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them carry weapons. Some of them have parents that might go like, "Oh, why'd you put your hand on my child?"
But from there, they were fighting for a good 10, 20 seconds. No knives were pulled. You can assess as you're running and trying to get there. Oh, there's no weapons here. I'm nice. I'm just gonna split them up. What world do we live in where breaking up a fight is something that we've got to worry about? That's such a problem. And you guys are valid.
I mean, look, to me, it's up to you on what you want to do. For me, it's kind of subjective on what you want to do here. But I do respect someone that is willing to step up and break it up because it's not something, especially because this happens at schools a lot. There'll be some teachers that will like turn a blind eye, and there will be like maybe one teacher that actually stands up and goes like, "Okay, kids, this is ridiculous."
Oh yeah.
Well, some teachers are 58 years old with a bad hip and don't really want to involve themselves, and I understand.
That bad hip is just an excuse. Fix it.
Yeah, I mean,
fix it. Do you know how expensive a new hip is? My goodness, those things are very, very expensive.
Healthcare is free. They paid by the government. Our taxes take care of it. Oh, Americans. Forgot.
Rocky's training.
Yeah, but at least when we get fixed right away like that. We don't have to get onto a list and it accidentally slipped into euthanasia clinics.
That's
really.
Yeah, pulling your raffle ticket, waiting for your little raffle. Number 502.
Honestly, that's more of the case with like basic colds with like lines like that, not stuff like that. But anyway, I just want to know how the In-N-Out burgers were. How were they?
They're terrible. In-N-Out burgers are terrible.
In-N-Out's not bad. Hold up, Rosales.
No. That piece of meat is so thin, and then you get all of this lettuce and tomatoes. The ratio between meat and lettuce, it's a salad burger with meat flavor, is what that is.
What's your issue with veggies?
I'm not. Look.
You'll be fine with it. It's a vegan burger, is what it is.
Look, I'm not an In-N-Out apologist. I can be honest with it, but it is still one of the good burgers. It's overhyped, definitely overhyped, but it's a good burger for what you get.
What up, loser? You want a link?
It is definitely overhyped though, especially in my city. Like you literally can go to In-N-Out at any time of the day, even at night, and the drive-through is literally is literally
Now,
full.
you gotta remember though that for you, In and Out is the stuff, but like, and that's West Coast, South and
Yeah.
the North. Like we might have.
You haven't had a chance to eat the really good stuff.
Yeah, isn't there a burger type of place in Texas? One of my friends was telling me about it. It's like an In and Out.
HEB.
No, it's not.
HEB is a
I mean,
grocery
HEB.
store.
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Whataburger used to be good, but then it was bought out by a Chicago syndicate. I mean, investment firm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I tried Whataburger.
That's been the case lately.
When I went to Texas. It was okay.
Yeah,
we
somebody
have
like Burger
Shake
King will
Shack.
just buy someone out and then turn them to shit and doing it with everyone. So
Sounds
Mid
like
and out.
Disney does.
When did everyone start saying mid? It's such a thing. I heard MJF say it one time.
Because people are too lazy to say mediocre, so that's why I like mid.
Mid.
Never had it.
Yeah.
Never had a Carl's Jr.
But a mediocre isn't that bad. If I watch a mediocre movie, I don't feel like I
is
wasted my money.
yeah, no, mediocre to me is the lowest level of still being watchable, and dependent on the film, still enjoyable. So
Yeah, and I'll have to
you-
agree. In and Out is not that.
Hey, you know there's like a free hamburger day tomorrow?
Where? In Canada?
I think Wendy's.
Is that how
and
they feed you guys?
I saw Jordan the Stallion posted on his social media, and it's going to be a 1 cent burger from Wendy's, and it's McDonald's has like some special also, and Burger King. You got to buy one and get a free burger.
Wendy's patties have shrunken over the years. I remember when they introduced Wendy's, because I'm old, and those patties were just huge, big, square, and they stuck out of the bun. Now they're inside the bun. So they've reduced the amount of meat that goes into their patties.
They should do that with sugar.
The small
Sugar?
burgers, the regular like Dave's, the regular Dave triple, those still stick out when I get them. I mean, not as big as before, but they stick out though. But I get what you're saying. The 99 cents burgers, the one, $1.99. They're nothing. They're just like
yeah.
In and out.
I mean, I'm just, I just hear everybody talking about like each individual place, like, oh, they used to be good, but now they're not. I'm just like, yeah, that's the case with all of them. They used to be good, then somebody like Burger King buys them out, and then they're bad now. Just like Popeyes. Thanks, Burger King.
Popeyes is good. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, Popeyes is still good.
Nah,
It's KFC that lost their.
It went from being amazing to like mediocre.
Stop it. Just kick this man
All
out.
fried chicken in Texas is mediocre. I'll have to admit to that. Flavorless chicken, greasy. They're fried at too high of a temperature here in Texas, so the grease gets soaked into the breading and the meat. If you don't have it right, there's a ratio when it comes to deep frying that if you have it at the right place, the right temperature at the right time, it's going to cook everything. But steam being released from the food is going to counteract the heat trying to get in from the oil. And so you don't get that oily chicken that you would normally have if you go to a fast food place where they're forcing it to just get inside and saturate everything. It's disgusting. Oh, hi. Yeah, but back to Jonathan Majors.
There's probably something I'm forgetting to say, but the man looks pretty innocent, and I'm
He's
happy.
guilty. Just wait for that footage with the Uber.
What's the footage in the Uber going to show? That he put hands on her and she was okay?
Yeah,
afterwards?
that he pulled out a gun. I was like, "Give me your money."
I think what it's going to show is kind of like that cat video where the cat is smacking the head, and the woman's going to be the cat, and Jonathan Majors' makeup is going to get smeared all over.
I'll be honest, it doesn't seem like there's any footage from that vehicle like the DA is claiming, because wasn't some of Jonathan's lawyers talking about they have like literal street camera footage and stuff that shows more from the situation.
Yeah, his defense team has been hustling, man. They have been moving at lightning speed to get all this stuff outside of what the DA is providing for them. And I'm pretty sure that the DA's provided them with all of these things, again, mislabeled and hidden within this.
Within 2 terabytes.
within 2 terabytes.
I don't know. You usually,
Did David make this?
they're
David
on
make
this stuff, especially the DA. But I don't know. It's kind of
My
like
youngest son made me a cookie.
What?
Look at this.
Hey,
It's awesome. You'll have to tell him I said thank you, and it's delicious.
chocolate.
The show needed to stop for that. Yes.
Tell him it's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
He takes choose.
McDonald's prices are absurd. I agree. They're making McChickens now close to $5.
First of all, any person that eats McDonald's needs to go eat goat vomit.
So we tried to go
Hey, I mean,
back,
the filet fishes are good.
and it's back on food. We're talking chocolate, and we're talking chicken, and
That just shows that the major things isn't a major update because clearly he's safe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for it to end. It's just, we're just repeating the same stuff over and over again. I'm just getting bored and falling asleep.
Except this video.
What is this? The fifth time they?
Just end it already. This is like the Johnny
Well,
Depp stuff.
they pushed
the. God.
They did their motion on Friday to dismiss, and then they've got another court date for the defense to rebut that, and then they've got another court date after that for the defense to rebut the prosecution's rebut. And I do believe that once they do that, the judge is going to say, I'm going to need some time to think about this, and we're going to push the court date back again before I make a final decision on that. And depending on how much grift is being given one way or the other, he'll either set a court date for next year.
Next year is right there.
Or he'll make a summary decision and dismiss the whole thing outright right there and then. So, we're looking at either a more sit back and wait in November, or it'll be over in time for Thanksgiving.
We've been through this though in May when they tried the same thing. They said, "Listen, here's this evidence that we want you guys to dismiss the case. Here, we're gonna file a motion to dismiss the case." And then the same kind of procedure happened where there was 3, relatively quickly within the span of a month and a half, 3 more dates, and then we got to no, we're gonna go on to trial anyways. So they're just doing it again, same thing all over again. The longer this takes, the more. I just want Magazine Dreams, his new movie that comes out. I want that to be I want him to promote that with absolutely zero bad press. I want him to have the charges dropped or the case has been won, and I want them to go on the talk shows. Man, Jonathan, you were really in some hot water. Yeah, you can't let people like that affect you. And he can be this heroic guy who was a victim of racial profiling from the police, and a lot of stations are gonna pick up and eat that up.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he also
takes. I'm very excited for that. Or are you chill that film?
No, I mean, kind of just because of everything he's gone through.
Really? Wow. But because I've seen like clips from it early from people who've seen it, just small ones, and it definitely it's not, the film itself isn't amazing, and with the director and such not being the best, but overall and with his performance looks phenomenal in it and looks like a great film. Then I'm really excited to see it. So it has that one guy from like American Gladiators, so like okay. Interesting.
So I think we're waiting on the bus footage for that before we can make a decision on whether or not he actually harmed the busload.
Also Joker sent you the link on Discord if you want to join.
Joker, you're welcome to be here and blow things up. That'll be awesome. But speaking of blowing things up, Disney wants to purchase all of Hulu. They have moved up their purchase to hopefully be sometime at the end of this month or early next month.
Yeah, September.
Right now, they are in control of Hulu because they bought Fox. They paid too much for that. Everybody thought it was because of the IPs, the Marvel stuff. But more than likely, it's looking like the reason they bought that was for control. They are click the link if you're brave enough, buddy. Come on now. So they got a second share of Hulu. It was split up between 3 companies, and Disney was one of them. Fox was the other, and I think Universal is the third. So they now have 2 shares of it, and they are in full control over what happens on Hulu. They're in control of the programming, the whole 9 yards, all of it. They just don't have that final say, that final third. So they want that. And what that's going to do is that's going to give them the opportunity to combine everything together under one house. All of the Disney Plus shows, all of ESPN. It gives them the mechanism. It gives them all of the rights to everything that Hulu is streaming right now. It gives them all of that content and the infrastructure that's ready to go.
Ready to go?
It's ready to go because it's already working with Hulu. So when you see them pulling stuff out and canceling shows and putting things up, they're trying to pool their money together, and because their stock started to drop, they really need to move forward because they're not going to be able to borrow the money that it's going to take to do that. And once they do that, we're going to see a lot of things happening really, really quickly. You may see them go ahead and spin the parks into their own thing, into their own business, and then they'll have money coming in from leasing the IPs to the parks because the parks are made up of all of the IPs that Disney owns, and that'll be a source of income because the parks themselves are worth more than the combined parks and television and movies and everything else because of all of the debt that the studios carry. So you spin them off and they become a whole separate entities, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 the parks are in the black, and they can start taking. Who did we lose? We lost somebody.
Cole.
We lost Cole. Okay.
No, not Cole.
No, not Cole.
We could lose Warren, but not Cole.
That's harsh. So, do you think this is a smart move on their side, or is this more of the same bad choices that's leading them to self-destruction?
It's a bad choice, just like the healthcare in Canada. But you think you're gonna get that chill? You think you're gonna get that flat back?
Okay, should I respond? Yeah, I think that it's a bad choice. Hulu is a revenue source that is coming in. And you're not getting a whole 100% of that, but to try to own it, to destroy it, it's good the way it is, and just have that sit there and make you money long term, as opposed to what do they want to do? They want to eventually combine it to Disney Plus as the long term plan. Get out of here.
Well, I look at it like this because I agree and I disagree. Because it kind of depends. Because honestly, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I prefer if they would just put Disney Plus and Hulu together, because I think Disney Plus itself is not really going to be sustainable, because most people are just going to subscribe to it for, let's say, the Marvel and Star Wars content. That content isn't happening so constantly, and they're just going to leave. And I think there's not enough balance of like content that's going to keep in adults. There's a lot of content for children. Yeah, people that are parents are going to obviously purchase it for their kids, but there's a lot of people that don't have kids in their lives to deal with and stuff, and you have to factor them in. So,
I want to push back on that. We have numbers that Disney disclosed. 14 million people watched Ahsoka the first weekend, right? And if they have 100 million subs and 14 million watched Ahsoka, then let's not act like it's the majority. I don't think you said majority, K-Dot, but the majority of people are not watching Disney Plus for Star Wars. You said Marvel.
Well, yeah, well, I'm not saying just Star Wars, but let's be real. The biggest properties they have that people would tune in for is that.
It's the kids. No, I think it's the kids stuff. Bluey and Phineas and Ferb and every other kids show that they have.
Bluey is huge. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, and like I said, that's why I agree and disagree with it, because it's like, you kind of do what you can pick either decision, because if they do just combine it all, you put the Fox content on there, which is a lot more adult content. You're going to keep a lot more people that want that stuff. I don't think a lot of people want to just stick with Disney Plus after they finish watching their MCU 6-episode show that's going to be out for 6 episodes. Then they move on to a different service. that will give them a variety of content. You know, I mean, and it's not to say that adults don't watch kid content. I do too, but you know, I don't I don't need to keep Disney Plus just to watch the Proud Family. I have other ways of watching that for lesser means.
I think the solution that they need is adult content for adults. Doesn't got to be Marvel or Star Wars.
Hey now,
you hire an adult director, you get a pretty familiar cast. Now they don't all have to be stars and expensive, but you know, get that lead character or one of them to be a big known guy.
You looking for Debbie Does Disney?
What did you say?
So you looking for Debbie Does Disney?
Yeah. Why did you say adult director?
Oh yeah. You get a mature director. Is that better?
Yeah, a bit better.
Hey, maybe Disney might also need that too. They might need some adult directors.
Yeah, that's to a library, I guess. Yeah.
So my train of thought is completely lost.
But then there's also a part. Okay, let's say they do get Hulu, right? And what if Disney's like, well, we still want to be, you know, kids first, family first, blah blah blah. What if that does end up affecting the content that's really not new content, not old content, but new content that's meant for a more mature audience? So, you know, that's the other potential con, but they can go either way on this, honestly. Personally, I would just say, yeah, buy it, put it all in one place. It's less money to spend instead of purchasing between Hulu and Disney Plus.
Okay, explain the Debbie Does
in one spot.
There was a movie called Debbie Does Dallas. It had an adult director, and it was adult content.
Okay.
I mean, that happens sometimes, you know, Kelly Jula.
Did she have a daughter, Alexis Texas?
I don't think they went that far with the movie. So, Movie Leak says, yeah, if Disney buys them out, we may not get Vacation 3. Get Vacations Friends 3. Oh, look at this. A Base Live says it was almost a series after Debbie Does Dallas. It was Debbie Does Whatever.
Nah, Debbie has to do D word or the whole brand is ruined. Debbie Does Disney, perfect brand. I get it. Debbie Does Detroit, you know, perfect spinoff, big market over there.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny how you know, Disney just buys everything in existence and they don't have an issue, but then they try doing that stuff with Microsoft. Man, it's almost like they don't actually care, and they just did that thing with Microsoft to act like they care.
I think Microsoft just bought the wrong politicians, is what it is. What do you think, Joker?
Well, yes, buying politicians is never a good thing. You're basically buying something that doesn't function, is already broken, and is going to put the world in ruin. So if you fall for it and purchase it, it's your money by all means, but you made your bed, now sleep in it.
You would just shoot them, right?
Hey, whatever the answer, whichever answer's funnier.
I think Debbie Does Her Taxes was the downfall of the whole series, is what that was.
Exactly.
Wait, you do your taxes?
Never.
I thought Joker was afraid of the IRS. There was a scene like that. One of those.
Oh yes, the IRS I don't fuck with, but I didn't say I paid my taxes. Somebody pays for it. The city.
Not with your money.
Oh yes, indeed. That's not my money though, so.
All right, so I think probably Disney's making a really, really horrible move. I think this was their end goal, if you will. This was the end game the entire time, was to pick up Hulu, because Hulu is number 2 behind Netflix, and they're trying their best to outdo Netflix at their own game. They pulled originally Disney pulled an Amazon. Now, if you remember your history about Amazon, Amazon went in and helped Barnes and Nobles sell books. and they wound up selling books on their own and putting Barnes and Nobles out of business. They helped a Toys R Us sell toys on Amazon and had a Amazon shop for toys, and then wound up selling toys on their own and putting Toys R Us out of business. Now you come to where Disney is wanting to be Hulu, and they've got this plan. They license all of their stuff out to Hulu, and Hulu spends all this money building up their television brand with their Marvel series better than they were doing with ABC television. And they build this great big thing, and then they pull all of that contact and the rights from them so that they could have that as well and build up their own thing. However, when they were doing their own thing, they failed to do what I was talking about before, which was build memorable content, because Hulu is based on having rewatchable content. You watch something once, you watch something twice, you watch something a dozen times, not just because it's on Netflix, but because it's watchable stuff. And Hulu does that too, because all they did was take on the reruns that were doing the best in syndication. And so they built on watching, you being able to watch shows over and over and over again. So who knows what's going to happen when they take over Hulu? They may take it and learn from it and start doing better at streaming, or they could continue to do like they've done before, which is take an idea that somebody else has and run it into the ground and ruin themselves as well as other companies that they wind up sucking into their ecosystem.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's like a black hole.
I'm willing to bet the last.
Hang on, I'm censoring myself. Okay, so man, that was a lot of jokes that were not suitable for this show. Okay, Warner suspends overall deals with their content creators. They have these guys that they use to build their shows.
Writers.
Not just writers, but creators. Back in the old days, you always knew a quality show because it said a Win Martin production at the very end of the show. So they got these show creators that they have overall deals with. They get the first look at whatever they're doing. And they have decided to end those because of the writer's strike. So, let's see. Ooh, wait a minute. I skipped one. These streaming services completely effed us in the concept of cord cutting. Between internet and 15 different services, it's more expensive than cable. You're still paying for it. You're still paying cable, regardless of whether the fact you're watching TV or not, because you're paying for the cable to bring you the internet. So, if you're paying for them, the internet and TV, you're paying the cable companies double now. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Debbie does diabetes. Wow, that's hilarious.
Just don't subscribe to a service. See how long you can go. Then when you must have it, you go back and you subscribe. And since you weren't subbed for the last 6 months, there's a whole bunch of things you might be interested in seeing now, and it's all rewarding. And now you're all in love with Netflix right now because One Piece, and then you watch all that, you unsub, and you go, hold on, they're talking about Ahsoka on Disney Plus. Let me sub there. And I just watched 5 straight episodes, and I got 3 more left. And then my Disney Plus ends, and all of a sudden I go, what's happening on Hulu? Prey, haven't seen that, heard good things. And then you just switch over. You don't actually need to be paying for every service.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I got my own streaming services, which I don't have to pay for.
What's Warner Brothers service called?
I'm also actually shocked that One Piece show is being well received. Pretty shocked, not gonna lie.
I am too, to be honest.
I haven't seen it yet, but there's a part of me that doesn't trust it fully. Like, I believe it's definitely better than, the other garbage ones they attempted, and it isn't, maybe not like bad. Maybe it's like at least like at worst mediocre and with like good production and such. But there's also a part of me that, still thinks they don't fully get it right compared to the anime or adapt it faithfully. And because all the people, well, not all, but a lot of people praising it are just like, yeah, this is way better than that Japanese anime trash.
Well, what's shocking is that usually this is what happens with a lot of these anime adaptations. First things first is that the core fans don't approve, right? And I'm seeing a lot of One Piece fans that approve of this show, and I'm like, okay, looks like they did something different. Now I don't know if I'm ever going to watch it because I need to watch.
Oh no!
I guess I need to watch One Piece.
Netflix, shut him up.
Propaganda.
You're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Gonna continue.
There we go.
Oh, you want me to continue what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just shocked that the One Piece fan base is actually.
Oh, that's all. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am too, sort of, but at the same time, I mean, it's not like One Piece or One Punch Man are good shows anyway. So
I'm surprised it hasn't been lambasted like Cowboy Bebop, considering we were all prepared for it to be another one.
yeah. Well, you see, that one's actually a good show, so that's different. So people actually had standards for that,
See, that's what I was saying. Hot take. I hate to say it, but I think One Piece wasn't great to begin with, so there's not much to ruin. But for the fans and their point of view, I get it. If it's representing the show well, sure, why not? Enjoy. I have only seen the first 2 episodes, so I can't speak on the show.
I mean, but I don't One Piece is a mid anime anyway, so I don't disagree.
Thank you.
I only seen the first 2 episodes also.
There's like 90,000 of them. Good luck.
Pretty much.
Well, here's the thing is that they took the I'm going to go ahead and cave in and we'll talk about this instead. They took about the first 90 episodes and condensed them into however many they had for Netflix. They omitted a bunch of stuff and threw some stuff together that didn't necessarily go together. So if you are a fan of what you saw, you come from thousands. I don't know about thousands, but you come from a bunch of comic books from the manga coming to hundreds of episodes in the anime, and now you got this Netflix, so it's going to be, and on top of that, they're adapting it to the Western audiences. The only thing that gives it a redeeming quality, I believe, is the fact that the creator of the anime was so deeply involved with the adaptation of the characters in the Netflix series. So there were several things that he decided should be changed to more reflect what was going on in the anime. So those factors and the fact that it was adapted for the Western audiences, however, controlled by the anime director, makes it more successful and more likable to the audience that's watching it on Netflix.
I wish Star Wars would have done that during the sequel trilogy because George Lucas is still alive.
I mean, barely, the poor man. I've seen him recently. He doesn't look too well. Someone save that man.
Whoa. How old's he? 80?
Late 70s, maybe.
He's almost old enough to run the country. Now, with Cowboy Bebop, they didn't do the exact same thing. And I think Netflix tries to learn from the mistakes that they've made. I mean, the other thing, the Death Note was made concurrently with that, so they didn't learn anything. Yeah, I think they're doing a good job, a better job this time around.
I mean, to be fair, just because original creators are involved doesn't necessarily mean it'll be a good project. For interesting, for instance, on the Bebop show, they had the original composer involved with all the music, and we all know how important the music is to Bebop, so that didn't pan out well for them. And then on top of that, you have things like Ghost in the Shell, which had the blessing of the original creator, which wasn't well received. I think it's slightly an underrated movie. I think it's actually a better adaptation than most, but just because certain original creators are involved doesn't necessarily mean that the original or the new adaptation will pan out. Sometimes it just doesn't work for the fans.
True. Yeah, because and just to side with that point, they did a live action Attack on Titan movie in Japan, in the original
Oh,
creator.
that was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And the original creator was associated with it, and when I found that out, I was like, how'd you let that happen? Like,
Mm-hmm.
mind
I
you,
would let
the
it happen
animated show is
too.
very
That
good.
was
Love the animated
hilarious.
show, but
Right.
the movie compared to it is just it visually it looks good, but from a storytelling perspective, it is so bad.
And I think
Now-
most of them think that they can get you with the visuals over the story.
Yeah. Like visually, it does not look bad for what it is, especially since most of it is practical,
Yeah.
but it's still butchered.
Yeah, I mean that live action Death Note thing. No, that's different. That's just what happens when you give Adam Wingard resources. Shit.
Hey, I mean, look, Willem Dafoe is not bad as Ryuk. I'll give him that. Other than that, it was horrible.
Yeah, my wife watched Death Note. I didn't watch it. So, but the good thing about the One Piece being on Netflix at this point in time and them having this live action adaptation is that Netflix also has several One Piece series available to watch. So it can drive people to the animation, and then the animation can drive people to the manga, and then it continues in that cycle of reciprocation that the manga, anime, and live actions normally do. It's actually contributing to the ecosystem, as opposed to, say, the Death Note and the other one, the Cowboy Bebop. You know, so good on them for that.
Absolutely. And the difference is there, too. You mentioned when the Bebop anime was on Netflix simultaneously with the show, the new show, it was getting more viewership on the anime than the original show was. So in that case, it actually ended up hurting their new show because they had it playing back to back as more people were getting bad word of mouth. So they would go to the anime and watch that instead. And in turn, it kind of backfired in their top 10 list.
When they do Naruto, they're going to have to hire some triplets to just save money, cost cutting on all the digital effects and whatnot, because he multiplies himself, everybody. But all this One Piece stuff is making me excited for the Naruto live action series.
I forgot they was doing that.
Wait, is Netflix is doing that one too?
No, no, it was rumored like a while back that they was doing live action. I forgot.
That's gonna look like Jump Force.
So we only have Yu Yu Hakusho next.
Sure. Yes, for Netflix.
Oh no.
I'll be honest, casting for the Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't look half bad. I was actually kind of shocked.
What show?
Casting pictures.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
What is that?
It was a show that was airing here in America simultaneously with Dragon Ball Z, delving with people in the spirit realm and things. It's quite fun.
Oh, I remember Dragon Ball Z. My first experience with Dragon Ball Z was watching my son watch the cleaned up American version, and then I bought him a DVD set that was subbed, and it was the original in Japanese, and it had all the stuff in it that was cut out for television. Nice.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of humor in there that doesn't fly in the American television.
Yes, especially in Dragon Ball.
Yes, Dragon Ball had that stuff.
You probably ran into an episode with Master Roshi in it.
Okay, bye. All right. Well, yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say I've heard good things about the One Piece show, and I'm gonna check it out. And I didn't say anything about the Disney Hulu thing, and I think they're gonna buy them. That's all I wanted to say. Yep, that's it.
I didn't realize the base life was over 50. I remember my first experience with dragging balls. All right. Well, let's see. So yeah, Warner Brothers is.
Your thing's lagging again.
My thing is lagging again.
Yeah.
Bummers. Let's try this again. Am I still lagging?
Oh, you're good now.
I can hear you.
Okay.
A
Good,
little
good,
bit,
good.
but you're doing better.
Doing better. All right. So Warner Brothers is suspending their contracts with these creators because they're not creating any shows and they're not working on the shows that they've already committed to because of the strike. So I don't expect anything to happen with the writer's strike until after the beginning of the year. So welcome back, sir.
The writer's strike is such a hoax. It's such a fake situation. Everyone who has a job is still writing. They're just not allowed to submit it yet. One day the strike will be over, and what do you know? It's a whole 200 script movie is going to be right in front of every studio's desk that they all expected. It's such a hoax.
They have all this time to write something decent, so for all this time into next year, hopefully one of the writers has written something that hasn't been constructed by AI or with somebody with half a brain.
Well,
I think you're going to see that AI is going to do just as well as the current writers that aren't working.
Yeah, don't be insulting AI like that with some of the writers.
True. I seen.
You see, if you are editing, you are not a writer. So all you have to do, and I showed this with somebody online, that all you have to do is correct the AI and push them in the right direction. There was a script that I had the AI write for Frasier, the TV series Frasier, and it wrote it, and the characters sounded like the characters because it was far enough back that the AI was able to scrub through that and figure out how the characters sounded. However, it didn't have the rhythm, so I told it to have the dialogue as follows: statement, humorous response, humorous quip followed by another statement, which is how they do things, because you get 3 jokes out of one statement and then they move on. And that's how the sitcoms were back in the 2000s, early 2000s and 90s. So with that direction, it was able to do that. It gave me similar dialogue that from before, but there were jokes. Boom, 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 boom. Now I've got a basis for a show. And instead of writing, I'm now editing. So I can edit the jokes to be funnier. I can edit the statements to go in the direction that I need it to go, and I can have it write it in a 3-act format in 15-minute increments so that I can break for commercials. And now I, as an editor, have written, well, not written, but edited a show that was written by AI. Now, if you hire a writer to do the editing, they're not breaking their contract, and you can have these shows written and put out there. So it's possible that people are still working right now to film some things in February when pilot season hits hard in Hollywood.
Well, I'll say this. I saw that WB cut off Mindy Kaling and they suspended Mindy Kaling's and JJ Abrams projects.
Yes.
Because what they hired JJ and his company to do work in 2019, and he now has to produce nothing for DC at all. Nothing. And they paid him like what, $500 million?
Yes.
Delivered nothing.
That's hilarious.
Base Life says, I hate when the highest paid people get involved with strikes. Like, why do you spread out those millions you made to the people in our company that don't make as much as you, or shut up? And the late night talk show host did that for a little while, but I guess it's costing too much money, so they're coming back to television. Same thing with Drew Barrymore. They're running out of money. So, and Bill Maher as well is coming back to television. So these are the talk show hosts. And if they don't use writers, they are not in violation of the contracts that they have because they haven't brought in scabs. So they can continue on with their SAG or other contracts and union stuff and still be within the restraints that are there for the strike, and still get paid to do stuff on TV.
You could do that. The guests that you would have just have to not be involved in acting. They could be musicians, or they could be athletes right before a season. They could be people with talent from other fields that's not acting. You're good.
It'd be awesome if they had people with talent on these shows. But
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Another aspect is that they the animation side of it, there's a separate contract. There's a separate union for animation and animation writers. So has Joker, has that been a boon for animation projects, or are they trying to force you guys out as well?
Oh, you mean for me personally?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, well, I mean, restate your question. What do you mean? Like in general, do you think
Has the production of animation gone forward? I know Gunn has decided to push forward because it's not the same thing as the actors and writers strike, and so they're going ahead with
Right.
production with their Monster Squad initially. Essentially, is what that is.
so? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, I think personally, from what I've seen, like for instance, some projects that I've worked on personally or have been working on, stuff that I was in contract for, I've personally been on hold for. So there's certain things with certain studios that I can't exactly mention that they have put that project completely on hold, and I cannot do anything further with it. I can't talk about it. I can't continue doing the work for it. And that all depends too on whether if they keep giving you scripts or not, because certain studios I work with, they keep fine tuning the script. So, it's being rewritten. Then I get another version of it. You know what I mean? So then they hold it back. But, and then other people are kind of, would allow me to finish certain things and get the contract kind of just the tail end of my stuff done, but it's still on hold. So, the thing is, hey, hold on indefinitely, and we will let you know what happens if you have to come in for re-recordings or if you need to, to touch up on anything. But that's how I've seen it. Now, I've seen some of these animation studios actually reach out to like independent, animators to animate some of their frames and stuff or to tweak things for them or add things to their layers of the animation, and so those people are allowed to continue working and they will pay them, you know what I mean, and then their main studio people will be either on hold or or delayed or whatnot. So I've seen kind of that too, where people working from home that don't necessarily aren't directly with hired within the studio are still doing animation or doing background animations for these studios, especially more a little bit smaller studios. And then meanwhile the studio itself is on hold on certain things, and they'll just have them submit it and they'll pay them and kind of get them out of the way. So it's kind of all over the place, really. But for me personally, a lot of the stuff that I was making a lot of money on is I can't do anything with. Personally, unless it's independent work or stuff on my own.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I would assume that there'd be a whole lot more animation in production right now, since that's a kind of a loophole that they could get away with.
Right.
Also,
I don't think you're wrong. I think you're pretty on the nose with that. That I think there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, so they can kind of get that stuff launched, you know what I mean? And certain studios with the animation seem to be able to produce that animation a lot faster anyways. Certain animation styles are produced a lot faster.
Like
what was
Star
that?
Wars Bad Batch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something where it's where the animation's a little bit more crude in its in its style, or where there's stuff where there's more computer involvement. It seems that kind of stuff is that's already pushed out fast when it's in production. I feel like those things are still happening in droves.
Thank you for the insider scoop.
And I think it's there's probably a lot of SAG actors, because one of the things that they've been doing a lot of in animation is relying on name actors to bring people into mediocre quality films. You look at your
Chris Pratt Mario.
Yes, you look at things like that, and if you've got a lot of these things in the pipeline, these actors are going to stop acting because of the solidarity thing, and they're not going to want to do whatever project uh, simply so that they don't look like a scab, even if they're, if they've got the money, they can sit it out. So
Mhm.
if they're sitting it out, then all projects come to a halt, whether it's voiceovers or screen. But I see another loophole that could probably be used. I see these series as being 6 or 7 episodes, and I remember back in the day, the old cartoon days. And this is what brings me back to this: is that you had Lou Scheimer and Funimation, not Funimation, Filmation, and they would make these movies, these 90-minute movies that would be released in movie theaters, like the first He-Man or the GI Joe stuff, and they would release them in the movie theaters, and then they would come in the fall and release them as episodic television. So if you had an idea for an 8 episode TV series for streaming, you could actually film that as a 90 minute or 2 hour film, or six, whatever it is, and then come back and stream that. So you film it as a film, get your waiver from SAG-AFTRA and the WAG, because you're an independent contractor and you're not, these big name studios. You film it and do your whole story, your whole season long story arc. Release it in competition first, get your distribution, and then turn around, and then you have something you can break up as episodic television for the streamers who are dying for brand new content. What do you think?
What do I think about which part? The streamers who are dying for content?
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. What's next?
Like, no, I don't have any
Listen.
sympathy.
I just want to say one thing. I hope that 2024, this writer strike is done. I don't want to see reruns of stuff, honestly. I know I know that they have shows already done and movies, but at this point, to me, if the masses isn't screaming out for this writer strike, like you don't see people like doing a kind of a, I'm not trying to be disrespectful like this, but well, actually it's disrespectful. The like a BLM version of the writer strike, then nobody cares. Like, to me, just get rid of it.
I'm sorry, what the hell does that even mean? Nobody cares that Black Lives Matter?
Okay, the writer strike. First of all, why I don't care about the writer strike is for the last 5 years, writing in shows have been terrible.
Well, you're just looking at the bad ones.
At best, they were getting 2 good movies every year out of, say, like about 20 or so throughout all genres.
Wait,
so that
what?
to me shows that there's the writers don't know what they're writing about.
Okay, Warren, you need to watch more.
No, I mean, name. The thing is, like, how many original masterpieces can we name within the last decade?
I can name like
talking about
5 just last
It's
year.
disputable. Everyone's gonna have their preferences, but if you look at all of the 5 movies every year that are Oscar nominated, those are good films, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I would agree with that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta look for them.
Yeah, just gotta look for films like Tar, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere. What was that one again?
Most of these really good films are like what Cole is mentioning. He's mentioning independent films or horror films or dramas or
and
thrillers and things. Those are the ones that have caught my eye the most. Because we can complain all day about reruns, but let's be honest, reruns and stuff on TV, we're watching reruns every day in our theater, and they're called the
Nothing
superhero
says
movie.
quality like a rock tied to a string with googly eyes.
Where does that movie stream? Does A24 have a relationship with any of the streamers?
They have like some with Apple TV.
Mhm.
They produce films like with them.
Apple will buy
it's
anything.
produced for Apple. I mean, it's in the movies. Everyone watched Marcel the Shell. Everyone watched Everything Everywhere, The Whale. Do they have a relationship like Sony does? Every Sony movie goes straight to Netflix. Do they have that?
I'm not 100% sure, but
Then the streamer services need to utilize the little independents and say, we'll give you like $4 million, which will change your life if you just let us have that movie.
But also,
Are you sure
Michael,
you just can't find them on Tubi?
God damn.
Actually, you would be well. Voodoo has some kind of deal with A24 because Voodoo has a thing where in their free section they have a bunch of A24 movies that came over the last as soon as like 2 years ago, some 4 or 6 years ago. But as far as their new stuff, you have to rent it.
I think A24 needs to smarten up because whatever they have with Tubi must have been an older deal before they got this recognition that where Cole is just sucking them off all the time. I think now A24, as soon as that contract is up with Tubi, they got to talk to the big ones like Hulu's.
I want to know when A24's contract up with Cole is up.
Never.
Well, to be fair, studios like A24 and whatnot, they're Fox Searchlight, they are not really interested in streaming other than video on demand upon release. That's not their audience. Their audience is people who go to theaters.
They're not in the business of making money, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Well, but a lot of those movies are smaller budgets, so you have a smaller budget film that makes some money. It's still making money. It's still making profit. You know what I mean?
Well, Blumhouse knows how to not spend money and make a profit.
Right.
But they make garbage films, so.
Because I think what is it? I mean, not even. Oh well, Fox for Searchlight, for instance, one of their more expensive independent films was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cole. Wasn't it the Skarsgård, the Norwegian film? I just blanked on it now. The Northman. Wasn't that one of their more pricey independent films? Right. And so that film is like a film of example of a film that didn't make its budget back, but is now considered a film that is remembered and independent.
Yeah. Pretty much, but everybody besides Rosales, basically. But you know what? I think there's another loophole that
I haven't passed judgment on the Northman yet. I mean, you complain about that, but I have not fully passed judgment on it. And when I finally finish the film, then I'll pass judgment.
Yeah,
that's a really good movie.
I found another loophole though that the actors could use. I'm sure you don't really need any writing, to star in the adult films. So,
I was gonna say I'm gonna head out, guys.
Well, not without guessing what Chill is eating. You have to guess.
You're not gonna get the answer.
That looked like a garbage can.
Is it Canadian?
I think inherently, yes.
So what were you going to guess? Poutine? I'm going to guess chili, but I don't know how good your chili is over there in Canada.
Does it have meat in it?
No comment.
It looks like stir fry
Why
or
don't
something.
you tell us the food you eat?
It looked like he was eating out of a rice cooker. So
he looks like a man who enjoys some meat.
dish.
Yeah.
Take that how you will.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm saying chili.
It's just food. It's not like we're gonna come and steal your recipe.
It's just your fascination is throwing me off, and I just don't want to give in to your guys' fetish right now.
Well,
You
we're
wanna
going to
know
ask
what-
the
you wanna know
audience
what Joe
out there
was eating?
what is Chill eating? Put your comments below. We're going to maybe throw up a poll later on, see what's going on.
I'm eating these YouTubers alive with their Jonathan Majors covers. That's what I'm eating.
Zucchini cereal. That seems like something Canadians would eat. Zucchini in a bowl of milk. Bag.
Chillmonger was trying that potato stew that Thanos made.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's something Marvel.
Potato soup. He's
Oh,
eating Marvel.
God.
He's eating Marvel soup.
Yeah.
Marvel
Whatever
soup.
stew he was making with his one hand.
That soup's pretty murky, isn't it?
I will say thank you guys. Thank you again for having me on, Rosales.
No. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. I know you're.
Yeah. I mentioned to Rosales, so I have to go do something. Well, that might be free because I'm thinking about that. But the week after, I will be.
Yeah, we'll see you when you make the roll.
You know it.
Damn.
All right, guys. Take care.
Later, Warren.
Hope you make bail.
Yeah, send us a postcard in Chinatown.
Jill is having McDonald's chicky nuggies.
Hey,
Can you
Rosales,
set the Italian?
before
set the
I head
Italian
out, why is
food?
your screen showing? Because there's 5 of us here, but you have one space that's open as if somebody's there.
That's just the way it. It's just the way it goes. It's
Yeah, that's interesting. Normally, it would make the host larger, but
I think it's like a spirit there, actually.
yeah.
It's probably a spirit of 76.
Is that better? I got the whole screen now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that works better. Okay. Good.
All right, you guys. I'm
All right. Thanks for dropping in, K. Dot. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
and
K. Dot.
Calling in. Sorry you missed all the big topics that we had going on. You know, we were talking about the Ninja Turtles Street Talk and the Jive Talk from Airplane.
Oh, wait, y'all talking about the recent Ninja Turtles movie or just Ninja Turtles in general?
Yeah, the recent Ninja Turtles where they were.
I can give a quick opinion on that if y'all
I'll do the talking. Hey, I'm a gangster. I got my puff and my Timbs. I need my bacon, egg, and cheese, too. You got the good super flat?
Bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Yo, let me get that bacon, egg, and cheese.
With the bed? With the bed, y'all. We outside.
You heard? Yerk.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna help people like you. Just being honest.
sounds like the average Fortnite lobby.
Well, that particular scene, I'll just say this. I thought it was cute. That's what I think of the whole movie. I think it's cute. I did like the Donatello voice. Well, I did like the Mikey and Donatello voice actor. I think they was the best voice actors out of their little group. Was not really feeling Leo and Ralph. Thought they sounded.
Yeah.
They didn't really at least get some kids that sound like they're from New York. I think the other two fit better. Overall, I just thought the movie was cute. You know, Ice Cube and and Jackie Chan was the best voice actors in the movie, including Donatello. Was not a huge fan of the different story changes, and it's not because I'm some diehard Turtle fan. It's because if they're doing a trilogy, I don't think some of the changes they did work. For example, exposing the Turtles' identity so early, you know, to New York, because you kill the whole ninja aspect of them. They're supposed to be in the shadows, and how are they going to be in the shadows if they're going out helping people? Like, hey, hi Turtles, yay! You know, trying to
Ninja Turtles reboot so often, you'll get the Secret Identity Turtles in 10 years.
Oh no, I'm not. No, like I'm not against them showing their identity. I think for a trilogy, this is too early. This is like something you would do at the end of the trilogy, have them go to school and stuff. It's something
there's 2 more coming. Is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, they already greenlit the sequel. I assume they're doing a trilogy.
Well, it made money, so I'm going to assume so.
But they are doing a trilogy. I think they started off in a weird position with the Turtles. It's different.
And you didn't feel insulted by all of that street talk. You didn't think they were talking down or making fun of, or.
No, I just didn't think it was that funny. But to be fair, it would have been better if they actually had kids from voice actors from New York that actually genuinely talk like that. Because they was just straight up imitating. But to be fair, they are Turtles from the sewer. They don't talk with other New York kids. But that is how New York kids talk now. So, you know.
Oh.
But yeah.
I mean, do you find it funny, K-Dot, that movie is so high, like, on review anyway, like, over the original TMNT movie, like, from the 90s? Do you think that's crazy that
yeah,
the general opinion is that's the best Turtles movie? That's insane to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is me. But I have to remember most of the people that this movie is appealing to, they were saying, oh my gosh, these turtles finally sound like teenagers for once, even though it sound like teenagers in almost every adaptation.
Yeah.
So mind you, it's that audience people they're appealing to that
true.
I'll be honest, really did not watch the older stuff, not even the previous like 2003 adaptation or the 2012.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Great
And
show.
also, like with these animated films, it's almost like if they just do like this animation style now that's like similar to like Puss in Boots 2 or Spider-Verse, and like they'll automatically think it's good without.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm glad you brought the animation, Cole.
And
I
without
will
actually
say this.
understanding what makes it good.
Yeah, this. So they literally tried to do Spider-Verse. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but with no
I
creativity.
understand what style they was going for, but if you go watch the movie again, look at the background characters. Some characters' eyes are not drawn in. There's a scene with a baby, and the mom was like, "Kiss my baby," and the baby's face was like not even done. It was like his eye was missing and stuff, and I was like, if that's intentional, I mean.
It was like an Illumination studio made it. Damn.
Yeah, it felt like bootleg Spider-Verse animation. The turtles looked fine because obviously they have to. They're the main characters, but the background characters, which also live in the world, they looked disgusting. Like they literally looked.
You know that animating a baby with two eyes costs twice as much as animating a baby with one eye.
Well, sometimes you got to sacrifice that money so the baby can have two eyes. You know, we want babies to have two eyes and see perfect.
If you're looking at a baby in the background, then you're missing the whole point of the movie there, buddy.
Well, here's my question too: is do we give a pass to movies that terrible movies that just happen to be animated? Are we giving them a pass because they're animated?
I think
that's my question. Yeah,
I think so.
I think there's a lot of them, at least in the last 6 years that I can recall, that get major passes because they're animated. Minions, but
Hey,
yeah, you can just say any Illumination.
I don't really subscribe to Minions. I do approve of those Despicable Me movies, though.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine with Despicable Me movies for the most part.
I mean, I'm fine with the first, but not the others.
Yeah,
but I think that scene in particular, it was improvised by the kids, and it was put into the movie because it was improvised by the kids. And the same thing with the jive talk in Airplane. All of the jive talk was written by the two actors that were in the Airplane movie doing the jive talk. So in both are attempts of being authentic to a degree, but they also take it to an extreme, which makes it unrealistic. And that therein lies the comedy of it all, is the fact that these turtles as teenagers don't necessarily sound like the teenagers that they're impersonating. It's almost like when you see somebody trying to be young and it's obviously a wig they're wearing on top of their head. It's supposed to be that ridiculous in its presentation to be to the point of humor. So
well, and that's the usual thing. Like with the turtle adaptations, usually because the turtles always find a way to get some TV down into their musty sewer house and stuff and all that. And some of that usually helps like them adapt. Even though they don't talk like New York people, it like helps adapt how they're going to talk and stuff when they're consuming that content and stuff. And I don't know, it's just kind of weird that they haven't, developed that talk in a way where it becomes normal. Because, some people do get culture through stuff like TV and everything. Sometimes Asian people learn.
Yeah, but let's be fair real quick, okay? Going back to the original cartoons, let's be fair real quick. It was only Michelangelo who talked like a New Yorker. He was the only one going, "Hey, Leo, what are you talking about? I'm the only one here from New York. Everybody else is from L.A."
Mikey, I don't know. I think it was Raph and Mikey.
Okay,
Raph and Mikey.
Raph and Mikey. But
it's also a different time. Now it's we outside New York too.
I don't know.
No, but I'm not disagreeing that. But like New York people, when they talk, they have like it's like a specific sound they all make. Even white New Yorkers have a sound that you can tell, like, oh, you are from New York.
True. They all sound like this now because they got the masks over their face. I'm just kidding. I had to go there.
But you can tell and stuff. It's like I said, I'm not against this whole adaptation. I thought the movie was cute.
When
kind of
you're
worried what they're
positive
gonna
is
do
it's
with.
cute, then it means it's just bad. How about that?
No, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's cute. Like
I think we need to get away. I kind of see where K-Dot's going though, because my problem with Turtles as of late with the franchise is I don't mind some of the fun camp of the originals, like the original cartoon show, but I wish they'd peel it back a little bit more and go back to the what the series roots and the comics were and be a little bit more serious with the characters. I would love to see a more serious Turtles like the 2003 show or the comic. Personally, a live action movie again.
The material
like
is
the 2003
very
and
smart.
2012 show is my favorite animated adaptations, and the 2003 show is like the best balance between fun turtles and serious turtles, because even look at the way these turtles are designed, they make them look more like preteens, but still, regardless, I mean, they don't they look frail, they look weak. They're not supposed to be big and buff, but they just look frail and weak and tiny and stuff.
So is their goal with this original trilogy? Are they going to grow them physically as well as characters? Are they going to change them up and actually bulk them up and make them look different in style by the third movie, or are they just going to stick with this design?
Because they're going to sell toys for each and every movie that you can't miss out on. So yeah, they'll be bulky.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
I think they're going to look the same each film for this trilogy, because I don't think the gaps in times are going to be that far apart. If they're going to go like, okay, they're in school now, and by the time senior year comes, that's when the movie ends. That's when for this franchise.
Are they going to change up the voice actors?
I think they're not going to be that far apart in between.
You know what? You just made me excited now for watching this trilogy. I can't wait for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles senior year.
They're all got walkers and canes. Let's get them really old.
Leo, Shredder's trying to keep us from graduation. We got to make it, man.
What about my prom date? Yeah.
Oh, you meant that senior. I was going further. I want to see them on their deathbed. Okay.
Oh my god. They're going to go to Denny's.
We'll have to bring this back later on, because there's a clip that I want to show you guys of what is it? Scientifically accurate Ninja Turtles. Have you guys seen that? You'll have to look that up. That's hilarious. So, or middle-aged mutant Ninja Turtles. These are some fun animations that people did online. But they're not suitable for this show, I don't guess. But anyways, thanks K-Dot for being here. I appreciate you popping in. You're always welcome. You're always welcome. Always welcome.
Hey, K-Dot, if you want to catch these hands in Mortal Kombat, you know where to find me.
I think I'm gonna get the game next Tuesday, hopefully.
Yeah,
I'll be getting it. All right,
sounds good.
You guys have a great stream. Peace.
Later.
This just in discussing film says that Drew Barrymore has announced this show will no longer return. She says, "I have listened to everyone, and I am making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words to express my deepest apologies to anyone I hurt, and of course to our incredible team who works on our show and has made it what it is today. We really tried to find our way forward, and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon." She caved.
Okay, whatever. And look at that reply to Resident Justice's reply there. Like, really, no. She didn't just make a mistake and then realize it, right? She knew what she was doing. She got caught, realized, oh, people don't like it, and then backtracked, right?
Yeah, pretty much it. I mean, she is considered to be Hollywood royalty. At least she was when she was 8, because of her relationship with her grandfather. The Barrymore family has a long tradition in Hollywood. So,
well, is this a decision she's making?
Of course not. This is a decision that society made.
Right. Well, I mean, that's not. Is this? I mean, her going back. Is this just hers? At the entire team, the studio? Because her show runs on NBC, correct? Is that NBC or one of those networks? So, like, I don't know. I don't really see. There's some celebrities that they have their quote unquote. They have their show, and then some of them have free reign to do what they want, like the Tom Green show. right?
Yeah, no,
Where he could just do whatever. But then some have people behind them saying, "No, you
what
can't do this because you're
what
Drew
SAG
Barrymore or whatever."
what they want to do with SAG and with the Writers Associate, the WAG, what they want to do is they want to make sure that the networks understand that whatever show they decide to put on, they're going to go after and keep it from going on. Because the last time they did the strike, they brought in game shows, they brought in talk shows, they brought in all of these reality shows, and
True.
that's how they broke them the first time around. So now with these couple of shows deciding that being pressured by the studios probably and the networks to cave in and go back on the air, Bill Maher included. Um, they're striking that first blow and saying, "Hey, we're going to keep going without you. We're gonna still make our money as a network and as a studio, and we're gonna stay on TV. We're not going to run out of the content. We're going to have brand new stuff, whether you like it or not." And the unions are going to be leaning on their members, whoever they are, and having them try to shut down the show as much as they possibly can. And so, you know, Drew Barrymore is obviously a member of SAG. So she probably had some union reps and some other people close to her lean on her to make her backtrack the decision, so that it doesn't hurt uh, the uh, um, the unions in their strike effort, but
Yeah.
instead hurts the networks and the studios in their ability to move forward without them.
Yeah, this is actually the worst case scenario. Like you didn't get what you wanted, which was your show to be on and everyone liking you and everyone discovering you. You got bad press from it, and you're not even going to get to have your show be the only show on TV. The late
Yeah,
show.
not even to get popularity from the bad press. It's just all the downsides. And also, I don't even think apologized yet for kicking out like the handful of people they did over those like pins or whatever. So that's the other thing.
Yeah. So, Joker, Tim, how do you move forward as an actor who's a member of the unions?
There's got to be a way to do independent work. There's got to be a way to do non-studio work, isn't there? You're allowed to do extra things that aren't that.
Yeah. You can star in an adult film. Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Well, if you're very
Amber
desperate,
Heard,
yes.
Side note: if Amber Heard wants to make the money to give Johnny Depp that she's owed, OnlyFans is the solution. I'm not kidding. Take all the photos right now. Go ahead, do them. Take all your photos now, and then once you're 45 and you still owe money, be like, a good thing I have those photos in my storage that I can monetize now. If I'm Amber Heard, OnlyFans is just, I'm not past OnlyFans. I'm just saying.
Well, to be fair, it's her only asset, so.
Anyway, I mean, in general, I think yes, there is a way to move forward as independently. You can, I very much so. There is this app recently that I've been kind of encouraging some of my colleagues to get into, and it's called Upwork Talent. And it is an app that is essentially kind of like the Indeed job search engine, but for specifically for talents that are in the arts. So acting, voiceover dub commercial work, and
So you're not
editing,
doing Fiverr?
writing. No, not Fiverr. Separate from the bigger companies that are like, yeah, obviously making pretty pennies off of us. And this one's interesting because most of these apps, I felt like there was a problem where it's like, okay, that's all nice. You can find, these jobs, or they didn't have these particular jobs that was for my skill set. But it would be nice if not only would they have more customization, but have a way for you to get contractual work. And this app provides that. It actually provides that, which is very difficult. I mean, 80% of what I have to do as an actor is auditions and tryouts. Like a good chunk of it is looking for the work. I kid you not. So even with the experience I've had now, which I would say is definitely above average now, and I might be able to tweak my demands on what I want in certain pay, I still have to search for certain things. There's every once in a while, there's things that come to me, or things that colleagues tell me about that I get involved with. because they're involved with, but for the most part, you are still searching and grinding out constantly. And this is a great way to do that. So yeah, there are other mediums and ways you can do that. I don't want people. I know I talk pretty negatively about this whole thing since it started, and like I've had to change my life personally dramatically because of it. But I don't want people who are involved in this stuff to give up hope that there's not a way to still find these jobs or make money or have more experience, because all those three things are possible. And it just depends on how much you want it now. Because yeah, it's harder. It's way harder now. Especially harder if you were just starting.
There was a guy who was complaining that he got a residual check from a streaming job for what was it, $3,500, and that was a recent show that he had done, and he got a residual from it from Netflix, and was complaining that it was too low. And I think if the unions get their way and they get into the numbers, into the weeds of what's actually going on with streaming, they're going to find out that certain people have been overpaid while other people have been accurately paid. And that's because the numbers don't reflect what's going on, and the amount of views uh, don't 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 really necessarily reflect what's what people are saying. So when you
Right.
have Ahsoka saying that it is the most viewed show, the views that they're counting are not necessarily the standard of somebody watching the entire thing all the way through. YouTube will tell you how many people have seen how many people have clicked through to it, how many people have opened it up, and how many people stayed through to the very end of the show. And I'm surprised we still have 5 people watching right now, because YouTube shows the spike and then the drop as the show
Right.
goes on. So the amount what's going to happen is that, okay, you want to get a portion of what's being streamed, we're going to pay you prorated based on how many people stayed until the actual end of the show, as opposed to
Right.
popping in, watching 5 minutes of it. You're going to get 5 minutes of a program as opposed to 2.5 hours of a program that got streamed, because people aren't watching it. That was the whole
Yeah.
reason Warner Brothers got rid of so many shows when the merger happened, was because they were shows nobody was watching. Yes, it had a fan base, but the large fan base had already seen it. And if it had that rewatchability, they would have continued to watch it before it was taken off. So
Kind of like Amazon Prime, where you're watching a show and it'll have a little time. The time code will be down below, and it'll tell you when a certain actor has been introduced. Right? It'll put their IMDb credit up there, and then as the show goes on, they'll disappear, and then they'll come back when they're back on screen. Right? Each time. I could see them doing something like that, where it's like, hey, if we can monitor it like this on our streaming service, we'll have all of our streaming services do that. We'll monitor the time of how long Harrison Ford, when he came in, how long he's been on screen, yada, yada, yada. Oh, and he will get paid for that particular time that he's been on screen. And the moment he is off, he won't get paid anymore, for those residuals for whatever show. I could see them doing something like that. So you're not wrong.
And something like that is really going to hurt somebody like Bruce Willis, who spent a grand total with all the movies he's done about 5 minutes on screen. Because all of these Bruce Willis movies, they highlight him, and then he's on for 3 seconds at a time. And, he comes in at the beginning of the movie, shows up in the middle of the movie, and then he's at the end of the movie, and then the rest of it is done by the rest everybody else who's carrying the load for that film.
He's definitely one of the people in support for AI, so then he can just have his face all over every film.
His stunt double will get more of a residual than he will.
And I mean, and he has to also too. There is also the fact that he's kind of even though he's a big name, he's a risk, because they have to put an earpiece in his ear and read his lines to him now. I mean, or at least that's what they did when he was acting in those recent movies. So there's that too. And it's different than somebody like a Nicolas Cage, where Nick Cage pops into a movie. He's going to probably be there the entire film, because that's his thing. Like, if he's passionate about a movie, it doesn't matter what the project is, he'll be in it. But yeah, I mean,
I'm going to be in it.
Right, exactly. And normally all the better for it. But like, it could be like a garbage movie, and that person could come in and really lift up. Like, there's been bad movies where Sam Jackson comes in and I was like, oh, it's just a cameo, but it's great. Like,
Yeah, but he's on
literally
the
come in and
poster,
save the
you know?
film. Right. Yeah, they put him on the poster. Yeah, that's true. And so if that's their big thing, they're like their big pitch. It's like, hey, we have Sam Jackson in our movie, but he's only in there for 5 minutes, and then you've used him in advertising. Well, then you need to pay him for the advertising and all that too. So
I
Yeah,
love the
that's
comment
pretty
section. These guys are great. They're wonderful. They participate in everything. I love the comment section that we got going on.
Yeah.
You guys are great. We're thankful that you're here. We're glad to have Joker with us. That's a rare treat. Obviously, work is hard. To
yeah, it's
come
been a
by
while.
because he's here.
Yeah, it's been a busy mess. I'm still alive. I still get random tweets saying, "Are you alive?" But yeah, it's happening. I'm still back on social media now, a lot more than I used to be, but it has been a rough one.
Allowing me in the common room. What can I say?
Yeah,
Right,
I hope
exactly.
the strike ends soon for your sake, so you can go back to work and don't have to, do that other job stuff you said you were doing. And and hopefully, they keep AI out of this stuff to a certain extent, or else we're going to be you're going to be in a situation maybe where you're like, oh boy, I get to replace Mark Hamill as the main Joker, and then they're like, actually, we're just going to have an AI do his voice.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we've kind of talked about and explored, that what happens to voice actors beyond this point if that's what if they keep AI in their contract and this is what they're actually going to do, or they're going to defend this stuff and something isn't going to be done about it. Oh, right.
You're safe for 2 years because they are getting close, but they are not quite there yet.
Right.
Let me see here if I can pull this up real quick. Where is it?
Yeah, because I've heard AI try to do 1992 Joker and it does not work. There are certain voices that it can do very well and others that it just cannot replicate. And like you said, pacing and timing.
Listen to this AI of one character singing something that actually singing something and singing is it's very, very emotive, very melodic. It's really hard to get that out of something that's fabricated. But just have a listen to Boomhauer singing Eminem.
Lyrics coming at you with supersonic speed.
Some of them are doom on a dang old human, man. Boy, I tell you what, I get a goddamn superhuman, innovative, animated dang old rubber, so that anything you say is ricocheting back at you, man. Devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to get a dang old audience to feeling like a slut of hay. Faded like a farmer's tan, man, I tell you what. Here's getting worked up, complain hot like propane. Boomhauer spitting them facts, man, spinning them rhymes like a dang old tornado. Jib jabbing like it just ain't no thing. Why be a god and not a dang old king?
Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said.
Phenomenal.
So there's AI because that I don't think he's dead yet, but there's AI doing something that just a few years ago you would have thought impossible, and that's keeping rhythm and changing inflection and doing its thing. And so
when we say certain voices earlier, the Joker voice is gonna be one that we all know, we're familiar with, so we're gonna notice the little things that are off. When I hear the presidents playing Pokemon, I've heard these presidents do a lot of speeches and a lot of talks, and so I can kind of tell when the voices are a little off. But when it's a guy like Boomhauer, who I haven't watched King of the Hill in how many years, so that sounded just like him. But I'm sure if I was an avid watcher,
Yeah, I think it's different too. You grow up with that voice, Mickey Mouse, whatever, you know it, you hear it, you've heard it in the background, right? You know exactly what the tone, and you know how much the pitch changes over, especially with Joker. The pitch goes up and down and all over the place, and then you've got laughter on top of that. The computer is going to struggle with some of that. I mean, it's going to struggle with the change in pitch, but it's also going to struggle with the laugh to match that voice too, because that's the thing. There's many different Joker laughs for it to
they just pay a royalty for the laugh.
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, as I've said before, and I think a lot of people have said it too when I was recording, is not everybody can do that voice, but it's even harder to pull off.
So there's many
the
different
laugh.
Joker laughs. Can we throw some at you? So how would Joker laugh if he just trapped Batman?
Oh, if he trapped Batman, it'd probably be more of a cackle, like the ones where he's like little things like that, where he's rubbing his hands together in excitement and glee. The idea that he's captured Batman.
He didn't
Oh,
hear
sorry.
you. You leaned too far back when you laughed.
Where he would be a little bit more excited that he had just captured the bats again, but then would probably immediately stop and think, oh crap, I've done it, but now what do I do next? Which is kind of his saying. He starts small. He's not going to cackle over the top. The over top laughs don't typically come in until he starts making fun of him or making jokes at his expense that, of course, Batman doesn't laugh at. And then, of course, what happens? Joker gets annoyed and then gets angry that he doesn't laugh at his jokes. And so Joker continues laughing at his own jokes, and then he says, screw it, I'm just going to kill you. That's normally his approach.
So like, it's one thing to copy the Joker and make him say things. It's another thing to know when he's going to say what he says and how he's going to react to each and every and how a Joker scene goes. It's 4 minutes.
Right.
And,
yeah. And then you get into the comic book style arguments of that character wouldn't do that.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, too. It's like that. Can the computer determine what characters, obviously you're going to have to type, the user's going to have to type all that, what that character would and wouldn't do and how they would approach these scenarios. But yeah, that, the computer is not going to be able to bring any kind of nuance to the performance. Even as it gets better, I don't feel like the subtle things are going to be missed. The details of what a character would and wouldn't do and their motivation for doing it will be gone. And so that's still going to have to be done by a human in some regard. But also if the human doesn't understand the character and the human is helping program this computer, that also is a problem too, because then it still doesn't capture the performance.
And so there's nothing to worry about with this AI stuff.
No. Unless you start hearing stuff like, I don't know, Donald. I think Daisy has a right to her own opinion.
Well, you already know that's being said at the Disney parks as we speak, right? Right when the kids walk in and like, did Minnie just talk about? They're going to be like really confused.
Oh, sometimes I feel like a boy.
Next topic.
Oh my goodness. We'll go back to what Chill is eating. How about that? What is Chill eating?
Chill is eating chili because it's in his name, Chill.
I like that answer.
Chillmonger style chili. There's something.
We're going to call him Chillymonger.
Website. Chillymonger. Yes.
Chillymonger. Yes.
Chillmonger brand chili. I love it. Chillymonger. Tastes like Canada.
I am gonna have to change your logo now, Chill. I'm planning to edit this version.
Yes.
With a chili bowl. This is gonna be amazing. I have plans. I'll send you the new edition later.
I love it.
That's awesome. Guys, I think we've come to the end of the road.
I believe we've maximized our time on this stream. We will bid you a farewell. We will play a cinematic so that you can laugh and enjoy on the way out as Rosales prepares. Jonathan Majors is an innocent man. If you take one thing from this stream, it is that he did not lay hands on that vile woman who alleges so. There were cops who showed up that day, and they orchestrated an arrest. The district attorney furthered this. The judge did not look the other way. The judge pursued Jonathan as well, and we will have justice.
You are wrong. All of you are wrong.
Yeah, stop it, Chill. All right. When have the cops ever lied? All right.
Yeah, those New York police officers.
Yeah, they're very trustworthy.
There's the reason why we need Ninja Turtles. Okay.
That was my cue. Was it? Was that my cue? I'm behind.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. I don't remember asking you a